All right, we should be live. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Active Reload, episode number, what is it, five, six? I lost track already. Whatever.
Five.
Five.
Five's good.
Tonight we have, as you know, already know, Arctic, Fatal Strike, Immortal Spawn, and Brutality joining us tonight. I'm sure you're noticing right now, layout pretty different. I changed it up so that we'll be able to bring in people from the show that want to hop in and give their 2 cents, so we can actually take in viewers, do stuff like that. So it's just more ways to interact with all you guys. And tonight's topic is pretty much the Gao Judgment Master wish list that Raxzilla came to us for. Epic apparently really wants to make changes to the game. They want the game to work, and they want to make it as viable as possible for us. So that's why you saw us tweeting out our emails saying to send us any ideas you have. I know Fatal's been busting his ass on it. I've been up all day doing it, anything I can, trying to get some stuff together. So I don't know, Fatal, you have some things to say, or whoever wants to start this off, whatever topic, go for it.
I guess. I mean, do you want me to just go down the whole thing, or we'll just do like one topic at a time and then
No,
we'll?
yeah, definitely, yeah, one piece at a time. You don't want to.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say because that would be way too long. Okay, so one of the biggest topics that people were bringing up from me, symmetrical maps. It was huge. I got about 250 emails from the community over the course of the last, I don't know, 4 days or so. And the biggest one that was pretty much in every single email was, we need just better overall maps designed for the multiplayer game types. So like execution, domination, TDM, whatever you may have. The biggest deal everyone was having for the most part was people were complaining about the fact that sometimes you spawn with power weapons. Again, the FFA issue. So obviously, Epic will work on that. They were complaining a lot about the fact that the maps weren't symmetrical. So like on other game types like execution and things like that, you'd be chasing down people for the longest amounts of time if you have like a 2v1 situation or something like that. So symmetrical maps was a big one. One of the biggest suggestions by the community, which Epic already seems to be taking charge with, was that they were suggesting that bringing in maps from old Gears games, but already Epic posted on multiple threads that they were thinking about, doing some possible flashback opportunities. So there's a poll on the Epic Games website. You can go check it out. But that was literally one of the biggest topics that I figured I'd bring up first.
Yeah, and just want to piggyback on the symmetrical map topic. I demonstrated. I think it's possible to run the game types that are desired with this game and still do it on symmetrical maps. So, I'm confident that that's possible. The only concern I have with it is, I mean, it's not like, hey, we got to make a map, let's do it, let's release it next week. Thinking about it, I'm sure they already had plans with their DLC, what it was going to be like already. These maps are going to go this month, these maps the next month. So that was a concern as far as, is it even possible that the maps that we're going to see soon are going to be what we'd like. But I have a lot of high hopes for if we do see a classic map pack based on previous titles, we could do a lot with that. So that would be
ton.
good.
Of course.
A ton. That would be
That might
awesome.
be enough, in itself.
Yeah, classic map pack was something I know. We instantly thought of. I know Fatal was talking about it with me on Saturday. Classic maps, and thinking classic maps. The easiest would obviously be Gears 3 because it's basically the same graphics. It's just some newer features that they got to add in. And I mean, one of the maps right off the bat I thought would work great is you got Domination Rustling. I thought that would work out really well. And that could be brought in. And if you're thinking like more execution maps, because we have kind of 3 DOMs that we can make work, and then we have 2 executions. So like thinking execution maps, obviously check out or hotel, any of those. You could bring those in. That's if it has to happen though. You know.
And in a map
Yeah.
like Rustlong, do you see the conversion to the vertical gameplay in Judgment? I mean, maybe they can modify the certain ledges so we could drop down in certain places. I mean, I think that's the goal too. Would be to grab some old maps where we can bring in that drop down gameplay, sort of fast paced.
Well, think about it. When you look at Rustlong, right? Remember like how you when you ran up the sides like towards Mulcher, you had to go towards Mulcher, or you had to come from the like the back. I guess what the tunnel areas. I don't know what you call them. I forgot what I used to call them.
The tunnels for
the
sure.
hallway.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like
yeah.
you had to go either
Ledge.
way, or you had to go towards Mulcher. That was the only two ways that you were getting to the middle of the map by Silverback. You simply just open up those areas a little bit, one
True.
ramp, anything. You just open up those areas so you can actually jump out, so you don't have to only escape those two ways. You just change the entire dynamic of the map. So like, there's tons of ways that they can do it in little ways. I was on what was it, Arctic show, I believe last night, and when me and Arctic were talking on Frag Logic, we were saying that if there's any map that you can bring back, like any map at all from any of the Gears games, the one me and KL completely agreed on in 5 seconds was War Machine. I feel like War Machine, if you could take any map in the game, like out of all the games, and bring them back, War Machine is by far, I think, the best map to bring back. The whole dynamic of the map completely changes. Like, for example, you guys remember, like, the window player? He would go play over there. Well, you could jump at the snipe now over that sandbag. That's like a vertical feature that's added in. If you're up top and you're getting pushed in a 1v1 or a 2v1, you're in a bad spot, I mean, you could just jump down. There's tons of, like, the whole dynamic of the map, just with a couple little small things, is drastically changed. So
Can we replace the Troika with the Silverback?
No. Keep the old school Gowan. Give me my baby back. Give me my baby back. No 4 retros. None of that. Gears 2.
What if we put a Silverback on each spawn?
Nah. Forget all that. Just give me my
4
old
Silverbacks
school
on
baby
each spawn.
Troika back. That's all I want. Same
pretty
exact way.
I think they're still going to keep, like what Immortal touched on, they're going to keep maps that have the verticality because that's what's new to Gears Judgment, and I think that they're going to keep that. But I also think that they're going to go for maps that are bigger, since we're seeing bigger maps. So I'm not saying that I want these, but I'm saying that these are possibilities. Gears 1 Mausoleum, maybe one. Let's see, Ruins from Gears 2.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And then I think there was a Dark Corners map from Gears of War 2.
Sanctuary and
download. Memorial, yeah. I think that would be one. So.
Did you guys have a vote as to which maps you don't want returning?
Gridlock?
Yeah, I'm tired of Gridlock.
Yeah,
Alright,
same
Gridlock.
old.
For
I'd probably go
fuck's
with old.
sake, let's no more.
Yeah.
I'm
just
tired of it.
Gridlock. That's
Yeah.
that's the only one really.
I think I could name like 5 maps that I would want, and everything else I wouldn't want.
Yeah, that
feel
makes
like-
sense.
I think
I feel
Tyro
like,
Station
I feel like
might
I
work
could name
well
5
too.
or 6
Oh my
maps,
God,
and
Tyro
anything
Station.
else I wouldn't want coming back. Because I feel like the maps that they've already designed, like what they have a planned DLC. You know what I mean? Like they have a set list of maps that they already planned on coming out, and we all know every single one of those maps is designed for the free-for-all capabilities. So if they're going to give us any new maps that they're adding in now to help us out and help the game out, and they're giving us symmetricals, these symmetrical maps weren't going to be in the initial type of maps that we were going to get originally. You know what I mean? So if we're going to get something, like, I definitely want to push for something that's really high quality. Obviously, a community vote's extremely important, you know, in regards to what we get. But if it's Gal 1, War Machine, I hear Canals all the time. People saying Canals, but I don't know. War Machine's my favorite. Other ones that I really like, because I know that Gears 3 is easier for them to do, like to make the map, like you were saying, Kenny.
Yeah.
I would say Checkout for me is a huge one. That's huge. Definitely agree with the Rust Long Domination comment. And then, you know, I think you
What
said
about
those
Dry
right?
Dock?
What's up? Yeah, Dry
What
Dock's
about
good too.
Dry
Dry Dock's a good one.
Drydock completely changes on Gears Judgment because of that bridge area.
Yep.
The only thing with Checkout, and I love Checkout. Checkout is probably one of my favorite maps in Gears of War, is that it's just so linear. Like there's only one spot where the whole Judgment thing, and that's on Platte, really comes into effect. It's the only spot. I mean, that's a game changer for the map, but it's just like that one just doesn't utilize
It doesn't change
what
too
Judgment
much.
is all about.
Would Nowhere work? It's
There's only that one area. Is the house. You know what I'm talking about? The house.
Did I miss a DLC? Nowhere.
Nowhere.
That
is,
sounds really
Gears
old.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was part of Dark Corners or the DLC before.
It was Gears 2. I think it was Dark Corners.
Definitely there was.
Oh,
a
yeah,
map,
I remember playing.
Sanctuary from Gears 2 that has there's like this big hole in the middle of like it's like some type of building, and you can see up to Boom Shot, and then there's another drop down, and you can see down to like whatever the hell was down there, like nades or something like that.
There's an awesome board
It
map.
was a sweet ass map. That was one of my favorites, and then like I said, I said this either yesterday or on one of my YouTube videos. I think it was my YouTube video, was Memorial, and Brutality brought that up. Is just like, that's a phenomenal map for Gears of War Judgment, just based off of the layout. And I mean, it's still kind of fresh. I don't think a whole lot of people got the chance to play that, and the ones that did, they're all like, oh man, that game is the shit. So, or that map rather, that map is the shit. So I think I think those two would be really good choices. Like Gears 1, the only map, and Fatal brought it up just a second ago, I want to see is War Machine. And you know what, Fatal? I actually misspoke yesterday on the show. I said that War Machine didn't get remade, and it did.
No, it did in Gears 2.
Yeah,
but
it did.
It was just a horrible remake.
It was bad. It was bad.
It was like the worst remake ever.
Yeah, it was really bad. But I would definitely like to see that in Judgment. Regardless, that's just one of my favorite maps. I'm trying to think of anything. I mean, I'm looking through Fatal. You talked about the wish list on Frag Logic. So that same day before we got to talk, and I think maybe you hit me up on Skype. I went ahead and did like a wish list video, and then just basically polled all my subs, and got like 390 comments
nice.
from people. So,
damn.
You know, I can look through some of these, and you know, I might just randomly spurt out some stuff from different people as we continue on with this show. But lots of people interested in change, or I don't even know if I should call it change. Lots of people interested in reverting things back to the old Gears more so than change. But
I think that'll change in time.
Interesting stuff. Yeah, some interesting stuff we can talk about for sure.
You know what I would like to see in this game? I know like destructible environments, like we saw in Gears 2 or in Gears 2 and 3. We saw the train. Gears 2, the avalanche was huge, right? Those things aren't really present right now.
You know what?
And I thought they added a really cool element to the game, especially multiplayer. Yeah,
it did because it changed the map.
It changed the map, but like the people that didn't want it seemed like the outcry for like, I don't want to die to random stuff on the map was more prevalent than people saying, oh, this is awesome. Other than Avalanche, which I think a lot of people liked because of
it just changed the gameplay, you know?
Yeah, it changed gameplay, and if you played Annex or King of the Hill, like the Avalanche didn't pop up. So it was like you always played that map, and it was so good for King and Annex. Probably one of my favorite maps to play for that specific game type. I don't know. I'm kind of at odds with that. Like, there's some really terrible ass maps that have the interactive stuff, like Flood and the fuck is the name of that other one? Can't remember the name of it.
Courtyard.
You had like security with the lasers. I guess that counts.
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah,
Hail. They said Hail.
You know,
yeah.
Hail. That's what it was. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That map was just.
Yeah, Hail was the worst. Like every time that came up, you just wanted to cry. There was no one sat in Gears of War in the lobby and was like, "Yay, Hail!"
Hail. I know. I didn't stand when it got
that.
voted. Or
the people that did that, zero.
I can't remember.
Never happened.
But
Now, one idea, like going off topic of maps, I had to pretty much help the game out was something that hasn't really been talked about too much is the instant respawning. I know a few of us have touched base on it, but it's not really one of the bigger things everybody wants, but it does make a big difference in gameplay. Because if you think about it, at the times, I mean, you generally spawn on your teammates, right? When you die, you spawn in your teammates' vicinity.
No.
TDM?
do that.
TDM.
No?
I think so.
No, it doesn't do that. I mean, there's a couple times where you can spawn by your teammates, but it seems like there are spawn locations.
Yeah.
It always seems like I'm by my
spawn
teammates whenever I spawn. That's why.
I think it kind of spawns you away from the players, but it's not necessarily that you spawn by teammates. I don't know the exact spawning system.
I feel like you just don't spawn by the action.
Yeah, that's it's prevalent. Like, you just don't spawn by the action. We actually set up a spawn trap on streets, and we had them spawning in Pork Chop. And, you know, all their teammates were over there, and they couldn't run anywhere else, so they just kept spawning there, and we had everybody kind of locking down different areas so no one could spawn. And that's really the only time I've purposely tried to set up a spawn trap. I haven't gone too far outside of that, but from what I've seen when I'm playing ranked by myself against other teams, specifically again on streets, is that like if the one team has rooftops, which is so irritating right now. If one team has rooftops, like and you're spawning on the ground, like it's hopeless. Like you can't do anything. So
Yeah.
you know, you end up spawning in Bushka, you end up spawning at Pork Chop, and by the time you get upstairs, like they just have you locked down. So I don't know if you end up spawning by teammates, because I feel like on that map I've spawned just in different places that are not where the enemy is.
Yeah. Well, the one problem I have with it is that there are times where I've spawned right by a teammate, and he wasn't really in a lot of action. He was kind of laying down support fire from far. But, I was spawning right by a teammate. It's happened to me. And one of the problems is, you get a kill on a guy, it's pretty much like, 1-2 seconds, and the guy's right back in the fight. It's almost like you didn't really get that much out of it. Because especially on domination, since the hills take time to break and then time to cap, by the time you get the hill down and they're finally starting to cap it, they're already like right back in your face. And personally, I think that timer when you hit A needs to drop to about 3 seconds instead of right to 1. That's my opinion on it. I feel like that would be best for an objective game type like that.
Yeah. Why not just like an auto 3 seconds? Like, why hesitate to respawn?
Well, because it gives you time to think and figure out what you want to do with your loadouts. So you can change it on the fly.
Yeah.
Loadouts.
I don't know.
Yeah,
that's a tough one because of the whole loadout system. Like, I don't know what would be the right solution, because, you might decide, oh, man, I need to switch my weapon, and then I can spawn in, and you've wasted, 4 seconds, like, boop. And, I don't know. And then the odd chance that you accidentally, and I don't know how many of you guys have done this, like, you have each weapon memorized, like, back is Gnasher, up from where you're at is Markser or something like that. You hit it one too many times because you're trying to hurry up and get back in, and you have like a fucking retro. Yep. So like, I don't know how many times that's happened to you, but then that's like a wasted spawn. So I really don't know what is the right solution based off of the weapon system that we currently have. I don't know.
Well, I think the best solution is to at least buff that time when you hit A, because then even if you accidentally hit A, you still got time to change that one thing. It's not like you hit A and boom, you're already in. You're like, crap, I forgot to change that.
I feel like you should have an automatic time. You know what I mean? Like a set time before you respawn. I feel like it's pretty quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In regards to how fast you actually respawn, what's the time right now? Is it
8 seconds if you don't press anything?
If you don't press anything, but if you press anything, what is it? 3?
Just like 1.
No, it's 1.
You could go even faster, right?
1 or 2.
It's really
It's
quick.
1.
Yeah, I feel like it should be an auto, like 3 to 5. You have to wait before you can instantly get back into the action, because you should be punished a little bit for dying.
That's the only game type that really comes into play is like Dom.
Yeah,
that's what execution.
It doesn't matter.
Execution doesn't matter. Free for all.
Although in free for all, what I tend to do is cycle cameras like as quickly as I can, see where everybody is, because it lets you see everybody.
Yeah, it's good. Like the instant spawns aren't terrible for some things, because it's nonstop action, so it's kind of good to watch. But like from a gameplay perspective, when you're playing, you get all these kills, you go to push up, they're already back on the field before you even get to really what you want to do, and they're already contesting you again. If you think with Halo, how they always had it, they die 5 seconds, they're back in. So if you drop it to 3, then it's basically 5 seconds, because you get in, hit A to drop it down 1, maybe 2 seconds, and then it's 3, 2, 1, and you're in.
Yeah. You see what Jim said? He said we had a delay in, and people hated it. It's like, that's one of those things where it's like, if you're a competitive person, competitive audience looks for things like that because it helps the flow of the game. I don't think that would be a feature or complaint for most players just playing. I don't know. That's something really like, that's like a edge case where
nobody ever wants to, when they die, to sit there. No one wants to. Even if I die, I'm gonna be like, damn, this sucks. I gotta sit here and wait. Like, I don't want to sit there and wait. I want to get back in the game. But logically, for promoting good gameplay, especially in a game type like domination, having like that 5 seconds makes you get punished for dying. Your team is affected for 5 seconds for dying. Like it does balance out the game type a lot better and makes you really think about losing your life.
Someone says that may not
certain
be
game types. I agree. Like I just know this. I know you guys hate when I bring up Call of Duty, man. I'm like not even trying to go there right now. Capture the flag though. There's like a 5 second delay, and then on hardpoint it's instant. So that maybe it should be based on those
It's
things.
definitely based on the game type. Like I was gonna say if we had a CTF, then I'd be like, there's no way you need instant respawns in CTF. Like I would be pissed If they
You'd never
thought
get
that
the
was the way
flag.
that needed to go, yeah, that would just be dumb. But like a game type like Hardpoint, like it needs to be real equipped. So,
Right.
and I think Dom is in that same vein. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the same. It's
Well,
there, man. It's awesome.
then at
But-
least another thing I had on the list, if say the timer's not in, I'm not really a fan of how like the time it takes to break a hill. I feel like I'm fine with it how long it takes to cap, but the fact that it takes that many seconds to break the hill is it's too much. It should really be an instant break if there's nobody there.
The
Like
second you're-
3 seconds? Is that it?
the second your body walks into the hill, the second your body is fully in the hill, it should be a break.
Yeah.
No question. Even in Gears 3 it was kind of slow. Sometimes you'd get in there and you'd be in there for like almost a full second and it still didn't break. You'd be like, "What the hell? I just ran through the hill. How the hell did I didn't get a break?" Like it should be instant. The second you touch that hill, it should be a break. There's no doubt in my mind that it should be like that.
Yeah, I mean, and when you're individually trying to break a hill, that I don't know exactly the time because I didn't write it down, but it seems like a long time when you're in that slowly breaking it down by yourself. It seems like 5 seconds. It seems like
it's
a lot.
3.
I'm sure there was testing on both like instant breaks and
Yeah,
there's reasoning behind it.
I understand what they're trying to do. I honestly even think, I don't know how you guys feel about this. I even feel like with capping the hill, it takes a little long. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like if you're a rifle player and someone's capping the hill on you, like if they instantly break it, I mean, the thing about it is if someone just gets in hill and you're guarding it with a rifle, you're able to shoot them a little bit where they're not gonna be able to get that break. And it's not, if you were a shotgun player, then yeah, maybe that 1 second would.
Well, that's the pros and cons of using a rifle.
Yeah,
It's all
that's
situational.
true. It's situational, but it allows the rifle player to play defense on a hill and not allow a break when they're actually sitting right there. I don't know.
Yeah,
You can't make it too easy for rifle players right now, and like that's another thing I'm trying to touch base on. Like the rifles they're good in almost any situation. They really are.
Especially the thing I think is like in regards to, I think you know where you're going with this, Kenny, is
Yes.
in regards to the rifle. We talked about this. See, the thing is like the shotgun is designed to be what? A close range weapon, right? Not a far range weapon. The rifles are designed to be medium to far range. However, don't worry, guys. If you want to play close range with a rifle, you got a reticule on your screen to help you out, and on top of it, you can melee. And you can just melee the player the second they get close to you.
Roll
just
back.
up a tiny bit, and boom, there they go. They go right down for you. So the rifles are not
the
designed
reticule on
for-
screen is like
Oh no, we don't. I don't care about the reticle on screen. That's not it. Yeah,
Oh, no, no,
the thing
I'm
is,
just bringing up the
I
part
like
that's
it.
a little
Yeah.
easier.
I like the reticle on screen. In fact, I don't even notice it's there, honestly. But
Yeah.
the
I don't-
problem is, a rifle player, and it was even happening to me last night in ranked match. We ran into that one super serious ranked squad. Okay, just playing with viewers, and I'm trying to push this guy 1v1 with a Gnasher, and I'm not just running straight at him. I'm bouncing around, throwing stuff at him, trying to get in his face. And all that really happens is a guy is going to spray his rifle at you, right? Once you finally get in close enough for that one-shot chunk on your Gnasher, he just swings. Instantly swings. You get knocked back like he just cracked you with a baseball bat. And then right when you go to shoot him, he's rolling back. So he's already out of that range to get chunked, and then guess what? He pops up, shoots you, and if the melee didn't kill you, that one bullet's going to kill you. And that's really it. I mean, a rifle, you're supposed to have reasons to use the guns in certain situations. Gnasher's supposed to be close range. Rifles like the Lancer and the Hammerburst are supposed to be mid to long range. They should not be so good at close range.
I
That's the
agree
thing.
100%.
And what's the change, Kenny? Is it a recoil increase on blind firing? Is that something you were suggesting?
The thing I'm trying to suggest is, at least for the melee, because the melee fixes half, if not more. The melee needs to either be the Gears 3 melee exactly where it was a last resort and rarely worked. That's what the melee is supposed to be, a last resort thing. It should not be that effective. Even when they fix the two-piece, it's still crazy effective. Because all people do is shoot you, then swing instantly and go for the kill, because it does a lot of damage on top of it.
Like
Well,
50%, right?
Yeah, it does a lot of
right.
damage. And it stuns you, knocks you back, it throws everything off when you get hit by it. Like that, it has to be like that. And the rifles, at least for the Lancer, I have no problems with anything but the hip fire. I think the recoil should be up a little bit. I had it like 10 to 15%. I don't know how that'll actually be. This is just a number I thought top of my head that I didn't think would be too bad because the Lancer hip fire barely moves as is. And it's an automatic weapon that just sprays. You'd think it would at least move a little. To me, I don't. The Lancer barely moves. That's my opinion. You know, that's the whole point of this, so everybody can get their own 2 thoughts in. And the Hammerburst, this is the only 2 weapons, Hammerburst and Lancer, that needed tweaking. The Hammerburst needs like 10% more recoil across the board, and aiming down sights and hip firing. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. You know,
I agree with you, and I even try. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with the Hammerburst. I'm going to say that I tried to get even more recoil, and do you know how many people could then use it? Me. That's it. So that's the issue. The issue with what you're saying is we're taking, and this is the thing with game development, and I hate to pull this card. Like at this point now, I have like 45 years now in game development, just experience dealing with developers and doing all this stuff, and like because we are so good, and I don't know if people understand this. Like people, it really does not hit people until you see it in action. But because we are so good, we can play at a level that is just ridiculously high. And like what you're suggesting, like Kenny, I swear to God, I tried my ass off, like 10% more recoil. I was they thought it was broken. Like I was the only one that could shoot with it. And if you go on videos or if you go to talk to people online, people are like, "Oh my God, the Hammerburst has so much recoil, I can't even use it." And I'm like, "What?" I mean, there's a percentage where it just drops off, and the more you increase it, the more it drops off, and then you're talking about people that can't even play the game. So you know, I understand all the need and the want to making it more difficult, but at some point in time, we're talking about Quake difficulty, where it's been around for years and years and years, but fucking 500 people play it.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to think of like a little bump in things so that it's not too much. It's really not. It's not too much, but it's enough that it's not as relevant as it is now. And I think it's really. I got to see how the melee is fixed at least.
I don't mind melee.
I had Pete tweaking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5%, and at some point it was like too ridiculous for people to use. I'm just that's what the hammer is.
And I'll follow up
Lancer,
on too.
I don't know.
I've been putting out content.
The melee, I agree, but I'm just saying the Hammerburst, dude. Like if you apply that across the board, what you're saying, like it has like detrimental effects.
Well, yeah, I don't know how much it'll actually change it. That's why it's like I'm just thinking percentage off the top of my head. To me, I don't think 10% is gonna be that much. That's why that's the whole point of this, so everybody can figure it out and talk it out. But
like KL said, like the level that we play out. I mean, people ask when I'm using certain weapons or just movement in general, like, you know, how are you doing that, or how do you control the Hammerburst like that, or, you know, it's one thing when we're used to it, but if someone new to the game comes in and can't even use the gun because it's just so much recoil, you know, we're used to it, then it's uninviting, and you know that affects sales and et cetera, et cetera.
Oh yeah, but like I really want, like, I understand the Hammerburst is much more balanced now than it ever was. I get that.
Yeah.
But one question I do have, and I forgot to say this, was the hipfire recoil put back to normal? Because I know it was lowered, wasn't it? I mean the recoil on the Hammerburst.
You can't even tell that there's any right now because I just played with it in free for all just a second
that's what I'm
ago.
saying. Like it really doesn't seem like there's recoil compared to when it was out the box, unless it's just my mind playing tricks on me.
I think it's just it could be you're just used to it.
Let me ask you this real quick. What do you got in regards to rifles, right? When you're playing in ranked, what do you think is the most threatening rifle and annoying rifle to go up against? Would you say a Lancer, a Hammerburst, or a Retro?
Hammerburst.
Yeah, we could just go around. Just go
around, just like everyone. Just put your vote in. Like, what is the worst? Like, you just feel like close range, not far range, close range, you are just getting bullshit. Sure. Which one? Out of all of you?
Close range, I'm getting bullshitted.
Well, you feel like it's too good close range. Like, which
I think the Lancer is the rifle that I fear the most. I haven't seen anyone abuse the Hammerburst so much where I'm like, dude, that's so unfair. I've never seen that. And I felt that. The Marks is like so fun and cool, but like I'm not really nervous to push somebody with that as much. That doesn't really bother me. I think it's a really, really fun gun, but I've never been abused by it. And the Lancer is probably the most thing where I've been like, you know, slightly frustrated, but you know that's been tweaked and things like that. So it would be. But today, if we said right now, it'd be the Lancer for me.
Yeah.
Mine would probably be the Hammerburst. I mean, if I don't see a lot of people even use the classic Hammerburst or regular Hammerburst in play, but if I were to put them on an even scale where Lancers equals Hammerburst would probably be the most abused as far as close range weapon. But I mean, it's not, I think it's good where it is because Lancer, you're holding down the trigger. With the Hammerburst, it kind of depends on how fast your trigger finger is, so I think it equals out.
What about you, KL?
Man, I'd probably say Lancer. Hammerburst, I like me personally using the Hammerburst against other people. Like I've just destroyed people up close and far away. But like the odds of me running into someone else, like I mean, I saw Immortal do. I've seen all of his free for alls, and like he can wreck people with the hammy up close, far away. And like I feel like that has the most potential burst damage wise to like really fuck you up. But I'd have to go with Lancer because it's just like if you get like 4 Lancers on you, it's just like really annoying. I just feel like it's annoying more so than like me having trouble with it up close. And I to be honest, I haven't seen many people use the retro, and I imagine if more people used it, that would probably be the number one. I don't know.
For me personally, my analysis on the whole thing is just that I choose the Lancer, hands down. I know in the hands of a really good player, people are going to be able to hold it down with the Hammerburst, but the majority of people, I don't feel like I'm close range and they're destroying me with a Hammerburst all the time. I feel like I can get out of that situation, and if I put myself in that situation, it's my own fault. You know what I mean? Like if I have to be like really out of position to get caught off really, really bad with a hammy close range. Yeah. But with a Lancer, you got that constant stream of fire. You have a reticule on your screen to give you a little bit of assistance. Not saying that it's bad, it's there, so you can use it. But the biggest thing is once they get really, really close with the Lancer, that melee, the range on it is pretty damn far. So you can get that melee off. People kind of like pre-fire melees in a way. Like they know you're getting kind of close, and they just throw the melee really quick, and then it's like almost like they're protecting themselves, so you just can't get in at all. So I definitely think it's a combination between the constant stream fire with the Lancer. I'm not saying that's too crazy overpowered right now because the patch definitely really helped, but I think the biggest thing that comes down to the fact is the melee. And my number one question right now, which I was going to ask before, but I'm going to only ask it once, is how do you make the melee so that it's fully balanced in regards of whether it's range or damage? What do you go with? Do you think, first of all, do you think it needs a tweak?
Well, here's we asked, I don't know if it was me and Fatal or me and Kenny, but Pete said the range on the melee is the same as Gears 3. So there's no range difference.
I don't have a problem with that.
It's the speed.
Zero range. It's the speed of the animation.
And the game sped up. The movement speed sped up, so it just kind of went in sync with it.
Yeah,
I like the melee now. I don't know, maybe, I mean, there is a certain damage per weapon, right? Or was that just Gears 3?
No.
The pistol takes 3 melees, I believe.
Okay.
Well, yeah, all the main weapons are pretty much
everything's
same damage.
2. Aside from the boom shield, that has a damage reduction modifier. That's different. With Kenny, you didn't answer the rifle question, and then follow the melee thing real quick.
Yeah, okay. Going on rifles, it's really close between the hammy and the Lancer, and it really goes down like that because of the hipfire. I think, okay, maybe you don't increase the hammy hipfire when it's aiming down sights, but if anything, it should definitely be hip firing, because a gun like that should not be able to spray so effectively in like really any hands that great. It's really, really good. Like if you know how to use it, like you were saying, Kale, like if you know how to use it, it's crazy good, especially combined with the melee. It's crazy because it's like a handful of shots and you're dead. So you put like 2 shots in a guy, melee, he's dead. It's ridiculous.
So with that being said, and then we'll get back to the melee, sorry. What is stopping us from pushing free loadout right now for competitive settings? Because you guys just all said Lancer, that's something we're using. I've been, my team and I have been scrimming. We've actually been allowing, just use whatever you want. Let's just play it. I mean, there's nothing set right now, default. Everyone's still using the shotgun and the Lancer.
Mm-hmm.
So is there, I'm just throwing that out there. I think we should be a little more open.
That's exactly what I feel like.
You want. I guarantee you guys are going to see a lot of Lancers.
Oh no, yeah, I have no problem with normal loadouts. I've been, when I've been talking to people, I've been saying, it's just odd not being able to have that Gnasher if you decide to go, rifle because
Exactly.
I mean it doesn't mean you're not good with a Gnasher. You're just using the rifle for that situation, and then you're like, all right, let me handle this kid with a shotgun real quick. Oh wait, I don't have one, and
Right.
it's kind of odd. It's really different gears. It's not terrible. It's just it's different from what we're used to. And
Yeah.
I wish there was Gnashers around the map for.
I was gonna say,
Fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you put Gnasher pickups around the map,
Mhm.
what's the respawn time on them?
Probably
Probably
a
a
minute. Yeah.
Probably a minute.
Yeah.
I would guess. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, like try to put Gnasher pickups around the map, so therefore a rifle player can actually have a Gnasher, because at least 2 people on every team are gonna go Gnasher minimum. I know that. Like Gnashers are the way to go for competitive gears. They always will be, because you got to get in those close in-your-face fights, and you can't do that without anything else. Well, unless the melee gets fixed, you can do that with everything else. But you need the Gnasher. You do, and that's what I'm saying. Like for right now, at least the melee needs to be touched. It really needs. Just look at Gears 3. Whatever the stats were for Gears 3 melee, make it that for Judgment, because
Yeah,
that was
perfect.
perfect. It
That
was
was
perfect. It was perfect. Melee should be a last resort. Look at the new Call of Duty. Who tries to knife in Call of Duty anymore? Because it's a last resort. It's not nearly as
Last
ridiculous as it used to be. You have to hit direct on, and that's it. Like I don't play COD anymore, but when I did, it was just I didn't even bother anymore. And that's how it should be. A last resort in any shooter. That's what a melee should be. It should not be so effective.
This isn't Street Fighter. You know what I mean? This is Gears of War. This is what we're playing. Like when you go into ranked and all you see is that all the time, it's extremely frustrating.
Yeah, it
But
is.
I agree with you 150%. Last resort, 100%. Go back to the way it was in Gears 3, and we won't have to talk about that anymore. Then we won't be complaining about rifles as much anymore, because then every weapon will be fitting into its situation much better. Makes it much easier for us to do free
Yeah.
loadouts. The only 2 things that are restricting us from free loadouts right now, in regards of execution, the only thing that's restricting us in regards of execution is pretty much the Lancer. For me, like when I was talking about settings most of the time with people, everyone was like, "Yeah, go Gnasher pistol." Do I want to do that? No, I want us to make it as default as possible. I understand that. But the point of this is that we have to bring up the problem so that they get taken care of. If we just take the Lancer right now, the as is, and we say, oh, well, the melee is not a problem, this isn't a problem, that's not a problem, and we don't go over this now, then we're going to have so many problems when we go and we actually start playing the game. And we actually start trying to push competitive, and we try letting people get into it. We're going to have way too many problems. The other problem that's huge right now that I think maybe we should touch on a bit, since we've been talking about the melee and we've talked about the Lancer so much, is definitely the nades. We've seen the smokes get patched in a very good way, so huge shout out to Epic for that. Spots and nades, in my opinion, are perfect, but I still think that the ink needs a very small, nerf, and I think that the stim still needs to be looked upon. So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to go into this real quick, just my thoughts on it, and then if you guys want to let me know what you think, then just let me know what you think real quick, if that's cool.
Yeah, I want to thank Epic for the last week has been amazing in terms of correspondence. I mean, we saw last week's episode. Right after that, there was immediate reaction and discussion and a live stream, and then within a week we saw a server-side update. So thank you guys very much. We really appreciate you tuning in and helping out. And go for it, Joe.
All right, so this is the way I'm going to analyze the situation. I'm going to start with the stim, and then I'm going to go into the very, 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 very small tweak that I think the ink needs. When you classify the stim, right, I believe that there are 3 different elements of it. The first element of the stim is basically kind of that overshield capability. Like, you get healed, obviously, but you have this, it's like an overshield, basically, from Halo. You get healed, and your health stays that way for a certain amount of time, and it never goes down during that time period. So you have an overshield property. You've got an AoE, which is an area of effect. So you have a cloud that you can throw into the floor, and within that area of effect, you're going to be able to gain your health back. So you have an area of effect, you have a also the overshield capability, and then you have a percentage which you heal and how fast you heal. So 3 different elements. So you heal on frame 1. So the second that stim hits you, you are back to 100% health, right? So that's 1. 2 is AoE. So you've got an area of effect with a certain amount of space that cloud takes up. So for example, let's say it's most of the area of a hill, pretty much in domination, and then you've got this overshield factor, right? For me personally, I think the biggest problem with it is not so much the AoE and not so much the fact that you heal on frame 1 because that's used for so many situations. For example, you jump off an area on the map, you throw it below you. Well, now you're full red, but the second you hit that on the ground, you get your health back, and boom, thanks to the new patch, you're out. So it promotes the good gameplay. But I think the biggest problem with the stim, and I think many people will agree with this, is that overshield factor. I think that overshield factor is why everyone is constantly complaining. The stim is designed to do what? To heal you, right? So it's awesome. It's a great concept. But when it heals you and it gives you this overshield property, and you could basically push into people and not be punished by any supporting weapons or anything like that whatsoever, I think it becomes a big problem. So my first question, and then I'll go into how I fully think that it should be nerfed, is out of all 3 categories, how fast you heal, the amount you heal, which is category number 1, to the AoE, so how big that is, or the overshield, out of those 3 topics, what do you guys think needs to be taken down? Like, what do you guys think, if we're going to make stim work make it work and go all default, what needs to be done?
I would actually think none of those. The thing that needs to be addressed is the ability to self-heal. If you're going to heal, you want to be a fucking medic, like, throw it at your teammates. Don't use it on yourself. So I think personally that Epic needs to say, okay, what is Firefall doing? What is oh man, there's like 4 or 5 games. I can't think of all of them. I know Firefall for a fact. Team Fortress, there we go.
Return to Castle Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
Did they have that too? Yeah, Wolfenstein did too. You could not heal yourself. You had to heal your teammates. So why they make it so that you can throw it down and then heal yourself and run into someone with a Gnasher because you have your stim, that doesn't make any sense. So I wouldn't allow self-healing, which is not anything that you address. That'd be my first one. Well, now, of what you said, maybe the amount that it heals, like, it shouldn't be a regenerative property that keeps going. If you hit it, then it should be that one time instead of repeatedly. If you are down at 50% health, you throw it down, you regenerate to, I don't know, say 150% or whatever, and that helps you out. And that's if self-heal was in. Otherwise, I mean, the only thing I would address is, like, if you're going to use it, your whole team is going to pretty much, or 2 people are going to have to waste their nades if they want to, heal you and then heal a teammate. I mean, you've basically said, okay, we're going to go all stim, which is pretty dumb in my opinion if you're trying to go competitive. That would be a bad choice.
Yeah, I think the best thing, and we talked about this, I think it was a couple weeks ago, I had said that too, like, you shouldn't be able to heal yourself. You shouldn't with the stim, but I think one of the easier ways to do it, if anything, and I think it'd be pretty effective, is to kill how long it even lasts. Make it like 2 seconds, throw it down, by the time it heals you once, it's gone. And that's really all it's for, to heal you back that one time. And when you're and when you're in a 1v1 right now, what is it, 4 or 5 seconds it lasts?
3, no, is it down to 3 seconds?
It's down to 3? Whatever.
I mean,
yeah, I'm not perfect with these times. Whatever.
That's okay.
Yeah, it seems like an eternity when that thing's down and you're fighting in a 1v1.
That's the thing, though, and not to cause an argument. I mean, I've been on the stim grenade thing from the start, preaching how I just have not been abused by this grenade, and it boggles my mind that we're still complaining about it. But the thing about it is, if they're using the stim, you just don't fight, man, unless you have.
You're going.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I've said that.
You run away.
Just wait a few seconds, like, and it is what it is, and that seems so, like, a lot of people agree with me, and some people are just like, nah, it's too crazy. But you just want to fight with that shotgun battle right now. You don't want to wait 3 seconds to fight the shotty battle. Well, you have to, because that's the point of the grenade. It's an overshield. It does what it does. Knocking it down another second, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's going to change what it does. I like your idea, like thinking about it like an insta heal, man. You just take that, you drink that one potion, bang, you're healed up. Mm-hmm. Your red 4 point is gone. That's cool, but it doesn't work like that. It's a grenade, and I don't know. I just don't see why we got to change it again when it was already dropped. But that's what this is all about. We have different opinions, and that's where I'm at.
The way I look at this, right now that everyone's spoken your mind, right? Like in regards to that nade. If you take away what I'm talking about, that overshield factor, then it's exactly what all of you have just said. You all spoke about how you want it to be an insta-heal. You drink your potion, you get your health back, you're good to go, right? Well, that overshield factor I'm talking about is when you continuously have that health staying at full health. You hear me? So, like, if that's taken away or at least knocked down a bit, it's much easier to reset the situation in a 1v1 situation. So now you could reset the situation easier, and it becomes a lot more balanced. That's the point I'm trying to make, is that the AoE isn't the big deal. In regards to how much health you get isn't a big deal. It's not a big deal if you're at 10% health and you go back to 100%. That's what it's supposed to do. The big deal, like all of you said, was the fact that how long you stay healed, right? That was one. And two, using it on yourself. But in regards to all the other nades that are at your disposal, and this goes back to your first video when you did the whiteboard, Rob, was you were saying that, well, if you use the stim grenade, you have no other grenade, right? So you have nothing else to use now. That's your grenade. You've used your stim grenade to either get your health back. You haven't used it in a situation to really, take out other people or use it for basic, giant map control like the other nades are used for. But the big point I'm making is if you drop that, I'm calling it an overshield, but if you drop that, the amount of time that it stays automatically full health, then everything you guys just talked about has already been taken care of, in my opinion.
Would you use it still?
Would I use it? I'm not saying it has to be totally gone. I'm just saying instead of 3 seconds, it could be maybe 1 or 1.5. I'm just saying it doesn't have to be that long. You know what I'm saying?
But if someone threw it, like, nobody would leave, like, I don't know. I think it does what it's supposed to do right now. That's my argument.
Yeah,
I think it does what it's supposed to do.
I don't think what you're saying applies to self-heal, because if you do self-heal, then it's more your teammate is making a conscious effort to say, okay, such and such is going to push with a Gnasher, let me throw this down. It makes teamwork a little bit more prevalent than just, I'm going to push this dude, I'm going to throw down my stim and rush at someone to get them out of this spot, versus, okay, my teammate is there, I'm going to throw my stim in so he can push up with his Gnasher, I'm going to sit back and support with my Lancer, and then you're using it in a much better scenario. And in my opinion, I felt like at some point in time, the Ink should have countered it.
Yeah.
I don't know why it doesn't. That's still mind-blowing to me that it does not counter the
I wish it
stim. But if you were, I think we talked about the ink cloud or the ink damage maybe.
The area of effect.
The area of effect isn't really consistent to me. It splatters all over the place sometimes. But if you made it the same as the dispersal for the ink radius or the stim radius for the ink, and just made it counter it, then I think you'd see, again, a lot more dynamic play going on versus, all right, we're just not going to use the stem, or we're going to ban the stem. But I want to hear what Brittany has to say.
Yeah, same here.
I think I like the ink. I'm using it now, especially since I'm using a rifle. I didn't start using the Gnasher other than Overrun until last week. So I like the use. I use inks or smokes with my rifle as they are now, and I'm liking the inks a lot, the way that they are. As far as the stem grenade, I hate them with a passion. But if they are going to self-heal, I think that a headshot should cancel it out. Or damage to the head. If it's damage to the body, then, it'll work for that. But if it's a headshot and it goes through the stem nade, I think it should count as a headshot.
Well, right now you died of headshots in stim. Am I not correct?
I've actually marked headshot people 2 shots while they're sitting in their stem like idiots. Boom, boom, and it kills them.
Yeah, you get it. I mean,
but it probably needs to apply to all rifles. I think that's what you're trying to say.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that. I mean, and damage from the pistol and things like that as well. I've been in a Gnasher battle where I've had gotten some headshots off and it didn't work, but maybe that was just me. I don't know. But
Gnasher's a different topic.
Yeah.
Do we all agree that if the ink countered the stim, then none of this would matter?
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be
I wish it'd be a lot better.
I think that should happen. I agree. I think that counter should happen, because it's not going to be a scenario where they have an ink and I have a stim all the time. I mean, it's a variable for sure. I mean, those are 2 different loadouts, but I think it's fair for it to counter. I do. I don't know. Maybe 50%. Maybe just not. You don't die. You don't instantly take ink 100% damage in it, but maybe it bleeds you out a little bit.
Yeah, it would just need to do something. I feel like if the ink took care of the stem a little bit, then this whole rant I had about the overshield factor and about the fact that people are throwing at themselves all the time wouldn't be as much of a big deal.
Krill or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like that would help the situation. But
would Incense also counter that?
What's up?
Incense?
Yeah, they do. Frags do. I mean, I'm usually wrong with a frag. And when somebody charges me with a stim, I throw a frag on it, and they run straight into it and die, and it's so funny. But that works. You can tell how funny it is, by the way.
Everyone on the stream right now is saying ink counter stim. I want to
No,
tell
it
you
doesn't.
right now, it does not.
No, it does not.
Does not.
And
Well, unless
there was
maybe
actually a
whole-
video.
I
This
didn't
whole
watch
the video.
concept is completely incorrect. That ink counter stim. It does not counter stim. You
It
run
lasts
through an
longer.
ink and you heal faster and keep your full health when you run through an ink. It does not counter a stim grenade. That is a fact.
Well,
I want to put that on the table
If
right
Jake
now.
says it,
This
then it's
whole
true.
misconception.
I've
is
tried that. It doesn't
completely
do anything.
incorrect.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, the
completely
cloud lasts
incorrect.
longer. If we're looking at it like that, then yes.
But
Cloud
yeah, you're not even using it like that at that point. You're throwing it down, and then you're pushing towards someone. Like,
Yeah.
You don't sit in it. You don't sit in it and then have an ink thrown on you and then just sit there. That's not how it works. But yeah, Scalus and I tested this. It's like a weird, like I wish I got it from my POV, but you could see it on his. Oh, you guys can go ahead and talk. I'm gonna
Oh, okay. Yeah.
find this.
Anything else on the list you want to talk about, Kenny? I know we got.
I had some
wanna cut-
swaps I'd come up with. I was telling you with before we started. Execution
wanna-
streets or just streets in general. I feel like this is going to be the best swaps, just from
So-
looking at it on paper and just Gears experience. I feel like this is going to play out really well.
You want to talk about the default first, and then go over what you're suggesting?
Yeah. Default right now, you have.
I'm gonna bring it
You
up
got-
on screen. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, bring it up on screen. That works great. Let me wait for him to do that. Yeah, as you guys know, you got Bushka one tower, you have Torque in the other towards the rooftop, and then you have the long shot at the pork chop butcher in the second story, and then you have Incense down low and Hammer of Dawn on the roof. What I had said that would be the best for streets is you put Bushka Boom Shield. That way it's in middle ground and neither team gets to jump on it. You put a long shot where Bushka is, so you got opposite long shots looking at each other. And if you want to go for long shots, sure, that's fine, but you won't get to long shot before they get to Bushka, so it works out. And I think, what was it, Torque Bow? I was saying, you can make that ink or frag, whatever you want to do, whatever you think would be the better nade. It's really just make that grenade, make Hammer of Dawn a grenade, and Incense, I said, to possibly, you could put a Digger there,
Yeah.
because Digger's not too much of a weapon. It's really a weapon used to make moves and push teams out. It only really gets kills if somebody gets caught sleeping and doesn't hear it coming. That's
What do you
really
think?
all it does.
What do you
So-
think about I like that. That's actually really close to Venom swaps too. It's really similar. You got, let me just double check. You got long shot at
Yeah, I'm
up
gonna. And I
top
have it on
there.
screen if you check out my image. Right now we're looking at streets, guys, and I have we have the red and the blue team, respectively, right? So right now on streets, the default weapons, we're looking at Incense, right here in the middle. And the problem with that is there's really nothing on the perimeter that's forcing these guys to move around the map. Okay, the fight's right there. You see each other out of the spawn. So what happens? It's a clusterfuck right out of the gate, man. It just doesn't work. You send two guys up top, maybe on bookstore. You drop down. I mean, you might have one guy flank around, one of the sides, just to get some positioning coming this way. But the majority of the fight's going to be right in the middle.
the team that doesn't spawn Bushka, also with coordinated smokes, will automatically get the incense every time. The team that spawns Snipe with pre-fired coordinated smokes will literally never, ever, ever lose at incense. Just the way that the other team's coming from.
What if you throw a set
can't
nade
stop
there?
it. If
you throw set
coordinated-
frags in that spot.
What's up?
If you throw, that's a Counter Strike's the term. If you just throw nades in there, frag grenades, what's to keep them from dying in there? Like if you went if you're saying like they smoke stun, okay, so your other team says, okay, we think they're gonna go a smoke stun first round. We go all frags and throw 4 frags in there. Wouldn't
Well,
that be a counter
execution,
strike?
there's no frags
But
right now.
execution,
Oh yeah, that's
there's no
right. That's
frag.
right. Oh,
So
fuck, I forgot about
execution,
that.
it's only smokes and spots. So whoever
Yeah,
spawns on
that's-
snipe spawn will automatically get
Yeah.
that weapon every single time with any type of good coordination with your smokes. There is nothing you can do. Throw all the spots in there you want, but it's not changing the inevitable, which is the fact that the people that spawn snipe will get that weapon every time. So what we have to do then is we've got to take the fight and we've got to bring it somewhere else. I like what Kenny suggested. A lot of people have been suggesting this. The only spot on streets where it is an exact amount of even time to get to a power weapon for both teams, red team and blue team, so snipe team and Bushka team, is going to be over where the boom shield is. That is the only spot on the map where it is the same exact amount of time to get there for the main power weapon. If you put it up top, what a lot of people have suggested, which is a great idea at first, that's what I thought too. I thought, oh yeah, well, we'll just take it and throw it up top. That's an amazing idea. But if you take it and you throw it up top, then one team gets there faster than the other. And there's nothing you could do about it. You could smoke it, you could try to stop it, and you could coordinate all you want, but it's pretty difficult to stop if you're coming from Torque side. Torque side is getting there way slower than Snipe side. So Snipe side has an advantage up top, and Snipe side has an advantage down low at Incense. So the only way to really balance it out is to cause the fight to go over at Boom Shield. Is it the greatest fight in the world? No. But at least it's balanced, and at least that the map will play out a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, again, with better maps, like built, obviously they're not built for execution, but changing the swaps, I mean, I really think we could make them work a little bit. So an ideal strat might become something like, you have to contest over here. At that point, you're going to be sending at least 2. We have this, old school snipe battle with Kenny's suggestions. There's a digger still in the middle, which is an option. Do we keep a power weapon there? If we drop the power weapon, maybe that fight becomes more of, well, I can't just leave it open because, they'll be able to flank right through our side, So maybe you end up sending 1. But what these swaps allow us to do with the given spawns we have on streets is spread out of the map a little more, and create a better fight, in my opinion, for execution. So,
I think the biggest deal right now is now that we're bringing up these exact issues to Epic and they're seeing them firsthand. Obviously, all of us definitely have video evidence of this, so we could provide that anytime. But I think the biggest issue right now is when these new maps drop, these flashback maps, however many we get, the more the better. I'm hoping we get 3. But when these maps drop, the most important thing is focusing on that no matter where each team spawns, the main weapons take the same amount of time to get to. I think that is the most important thing. So obviously we could fix this on streets and we could fix this on Haven with some decent swaps. So we could fix it and make it work. But in regards to the other maps that are going to be coming out in the future, I think this is something that Epic needs to highly focus on for their testing team.
The thing you need to emphasize is that
symmetrical.
There was not symmetrical as a point, but with what you're saying with the same times to maps, there are a number of maps that Epic released on Gears 1, Gears 2, Gears 3, where one team always got there faster no matter what you did, no matter what
Old Town.
And it's like they have an Old Town, Dry Dock, Avalanche, River. I mean, there's a ton of maps where they did not balance it out. Gridlock. There's a ton.
And there's
of
always left hand and right hand, so there's always going to be a good side.
Yep.
But they need to make it so that both teams get the same amount of time. I agree 100%. And that's what they really missed and dropped the ball on the previous maps, on previous games. It's like they did not make it so that it was the same time both ways. So I 100% agree with that.
When you look at the maps, right? Let's take an example. Let's take a recent map that we all played competitively, right? We all played Gears 3. We all played Dry Dock. Cog Spawn, going to Torque Bow and Snipe was always better than Locust Spawn. However, we were able as a competitive community to counter that through strategies. You saw teams like SUR in the beginning running one-shot strats. They were like, okay, that's fine. You want to take it on Cog side? Go ahead. We're all going to run long shot. We're going to pick up nades, and we're going to play for that. We're going to ink out your power weapon, and we're going to do that. You can counter it through strategy, which is great. But the point is that we want to make it as even as possible. Yes, there will be a right hand. Yes, there will be a left hand. We cannot change that. There will be a right hand and a left hand on one side, no matter what way you look at it. But the point is that if we make the times more even, then it makes the map flow much better. If we have slightly less choke points, I think that's the other big deal with the maps right now. There's too many ways to go. If we could just narrow this down for execution specifically, some choke points, since the maps were not designed for it, and there's less choke points. A map, for example, like Haven, there's only 4 choke points, top or bottom of Temple, over at Breach Shot, technically 2 ways in Breach Shot, so there's 2 ways there, and then Boom Shield. So technically you have 5 ways to go. But at least it's somewhat contained when you have 4 players. You could still contain it somewhat. Like, yes, teams can flank, but
choke points is just so hard of a topic because of, like, you could just go anywhere. Like, it's really hard to say, I don't know how to address that.
Well,
I don't have any
flashback
solution off the top of my
maps.
head.
Would you think that would help in regards to balancing it more? Would you think that flashback maps are a really big deal, and that's going to help us in regards to balancing execution? Obviously, balancing domination not as much. It doesn't matter really as much, but I think execution is a big factor if we're trying to balance that
Yeah,
game.
free for all's there too, though.
Yeah, think about yeah, free for all is one thing, but think about War Machine. Like, you know, you were talking about that 1v1 up. Like, you know, the fact that you can just go up top and then just hop back down bottom, it's like, well, that's like mind blowing to how that changes the map, because at one point you have a guy that's, you know, basically running around in circles going down the steps, and then all of a sudden he's like, you know what, you know, forget this fight, I'm gonna just hop down off of the the little the ledge there and just run around. And then when you have them at sandbags, you know, if someone's at we used to call it host spot, I think most of us did, host spot either side, they're like, you know, you come around for their flank from mid boxes and shoot those guys that are standing up there. They said, oh, you're shooting me in the back, hop down to snipe. And it's like, well, you don't really have them pinned at that point. So I don't know. There's a lot of questions to say whether or not choke points is going to be an issue. Maybe you can make it like focal points of the map. Like if you don't get to this certain area, then that's considered a choke point. But it's really hard.
Man up rule.
Let me ask you this real quick. In regards to War Machine, right? If you, when you come out of Troika, that little circle where Troika is, if you couldn't jump there, but you could jump on the sides where you spawn and the other team spawns, would that make it a little bit better? So that you can't just run to the middle, just hop over, go flank the other team. You know what I mean? Like if you jump up top and you hop down, then you're hopping down your respected side, unless you completely push out your opponent.
So you're saying they spawn up top?
No. I'm saying like, I'll go through it real quick. Hypothetically, you got 4-on-4, right?
Yeah.
Everyone goes to their respected spots. If you're going to back in the
okay, respected spot. Okay, I thought you said.
You know what I'm saying? Then you got one guy going up top, you got one guy going host spot, one guy going window, one guy going snipe, right? Hypothetically, just basic strategy, right? If in that 1v1 situation up top, which is like a classic situation, instead of just running up to Troika and then just jumping down and just flanking everybody down low, if you could only hop down on your respected side, you see what I'm saying?
They would have
so
to
that
change
way you
the
can't
layout
just
of the
fly
map.
at their team. You know what I mean? Like it just it will balance it a little bit better.
So you smoked, ran through the smoke. The other guy didn't see. Say he saw you go up top. He called, "Hey, there's one guy up top." You smoke. The guy loses track of you, and then you hop down on their side in the smoke.
Yeah, if you hop down their side, I mean that's going to be the host spots player, you know, to try to call you out.
I don't know. I just think
it's hard.
really
It's hard. The map will play out differently, definitely.
And you know, there's people that were suggesting River. Think about River. Like there were choke points, and then all of a sudden, you know, you used to trap people in the house all the time, and it's like, well, yeah, I'm not trapped in the house anymore. I'm gonna hop out this window and go down into the river.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's.
You know what I mean?
It's just like
man,
every single map is like that at this point. It's like, well, how do you create choke points?
I think it depends.
Really
It depends on the map. Some maps is easier than others. Like a map like Checkout obviously is easier, but like River would be horrible. That would just be bad. That map would never end. We'd be having the same problems we have on like Gondola or like, you know, Library Execution. Like you could just run forever. There's so many ways to go.
I know, like
there's too many ways to go.
I said it like twice, and I think it just went over everyone's head. But the man up rule would work in this game type.
No.
No, God.
No.
Like execution is so almost unplayable with these maps right now. If you
No,
want
it's not.
Execution.
Not with all of them.
The way the maps are currently designed, we only have 2 maps we're using for execution.
Yep.
Using Haven and we're using Streets, which both we could balance out by causing incentive by the power weapons that are on the map. Perfect example we've gone through before, Mansion. We played outside because there was a boom shot there. The entire mansion, nobody went in the mansion. The map's called Mansion, no one went in there. We changed the way the map was played through like power weapon placement. We could do the same thing in this game.
I'm hopeful for the new maps that are coming out, because I think like they put execution out and they were like, oh crap, there is not an execution map, so they just stuck Haven in there, you know.
Yep.
And execution wasn't due out until like later this month or next month or something. So, you know, we wanted it, we got it, so they said, oh, Haven's done, let's give them that right now. They can play with that, and then of course Streets works. So I'm positive about the maps that are coming up for us as far as execution goes.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be drastic.
Yeah, and I think at that point we'll have more to work with, and it won't be such a struggle trying to come up with swaps and things for maps that weren't designed for this game type.
One topic that we're kind of talking about it with swaps now that I want to hit right now is, and Fado, you and I had this kind of conversation yesterday or the day before.
Yep.
With weapon swaps and custom weapon swaps, I'm very I want to play vanilla as possible for competition purposes, seeing what everyone else is doing. I don't even have to do any name drops. Seeing what everyone else is doing and seeing where other games have struggled. I will call out this game. Halo has struggled a lot with having all these custom swaps and stuff, custom community. They have an MLG, or there used to be an MLG playlist that you look at every other playlist, the MLG playlist has 2,000 people in it all the time. That's it. Never goes above that, doesn't matter. And it's a completely different game almost. And we don't play, we're not going to be playing default. And I think one of the things that needs to be stressed, if we're going to do execution as a game type, and we feel like, Streets needs to be rebalanced with some swaps, and this map needs to be rebalanced with the swaps. The people that are playing ranked execution, I know this is really messed up because it's not consistent with the rest of the game. So if they played execution then went to TDM, it'd be different. But if it'd be possible to just get some custom swaps for playlists to try them out, they did that on Gears 3. Quinn and Pete kind of made that shit happen with Dry Dock, I think was one. Where's another map that they trenches? Yeah, they switched around some swaps because they were just better to play on, and so that will really help us out trying to make this work if we could get some type of consistent swaps that make those game types better. And that we've already said, hey, the frags don't work, the inks don't work for starting loadouts. So why not just say, okay, well, and the boom shot. I can't forget the boom shot. The boom shot doesn't work in execution. Well, why not say, all right, these swaps aren't working for execution, period. Let's just make it different. So, they've already kind of done it. Let's just go all the way. Let's go all out for it and make everything consistent. That way, we're not saying, okay, we need to switch this on this map. We need to switch this on this map. And the people that play execution, if they watch, Hype or another online tournament for Gears, they're like, okay, I understand that because that's the default swaps, and they don't have to switch it around when they're in game because it's already default if they're trying to practice.
I think the biggest deal right here, I agree with everything you just said. I think the biggest deal right here is in regards to us having to make changes. I'm not trying to put I have to. The blame kind of does fall on Epic on this part because they designed the game for free-for-all. So it's not that we're being ignorant and we want to make it our way to play the game. We don't have a choice. If we're trying to make this game balanced for domination and for execution and make this work, these changes need to start being implemented in regards to how the map plays out and what the weapon swaps are. It's not our fault. It's not like, oh, hey guys, we're going to force you to have to play this. No, what can we do about it? We can't do anything or change the fact that it was designed to FFA.
We don't have to play execution. If there's enough maps, we could play domination. I'm not saying I have to play execution. This game is fun as hell on domination. If it doesn't work, why? I don't know.
Let me ask you this. Out of the box right now. We got 5 maps, right?
Yeah.
How many maps right now for domination do you think work?
4.
Which ones?
Everything but Gondola's not my favorite map. I don't really like Gondola. I think Rig is fine. Everybody doesn't want to play Rig. I like Rig. I think Rig's fine.
You think rig domination is going to?
I'm going to go with 3.
Really well?
I'm going to say 3.
Yeah. Well, out of 5, what are playable? 4. Yeah. In my opinion, sure. I'm not saying that's enough to make a cycle. We need more. We definitely need more maps, and more maps are coming. But if we're execution, we can't force it if it's not going to work. That's all I'm saying. I think it works successfully on one map right now that we've tried. Streets is just okay. With new swaps, I think it could work. But
execution right now, in default, I agree with you. It does not work. But execution with the swaps that Kenny or Venom proposed that balance out the map better will completely change the way that execution plays out, and it makes Haven and it makes Streets playable.
Yeah, that was the whole point of what I'm proposing. These aren't just swaps to use as in subs for competitive play. These are swaps to make in Gears overall.
This is what we're trying to do right here is we are trying to completely change the way that ranked is played so that it doesn't matter if you're competitive, it doesn't matter if you're casual. I hate those two terms anyway. As a Gears player, no matter who the hell you are, when you go into ranked, you enjoy yourself because the maps are more balanced and you have a better time. You know what I mean? Like it's going to completely change the way the game's played. If, of course, Epic takes these changes that we're proposing, of course we have to make sure they work. But once we do, if they implement them into the game, then it's going to completely change it. And then ranked players are going to have a better time. You're going to have a better time when you go play ranked and you play execution. All of us are going to have a better time when we play in tournaments because the game is going to be the same as what we use because it's been completely balanced. And then we've got what everybody wants for the most part. What's the ultimate goal? The ultimate goal is to have it so that our game is the same game competitively as it is ranked. Just so it's overall just the same thing. We wouldn't want to deviate ourselves from the community. Am I correct? Is that not the whole point of us doing this
that's
show
the
and
whole
going
point.
over everything?
Well, yeah, that's the whole point of it. Like I said, no need to beat a dead horse, but the whole point of these swaps is for swaps to be taken in. We already know they're willing to take swaps as long as they make sense and they work. So that's the whole point of these. I mean, I only got to say streets, and then that broke off into a whole tangent. But I mean, I have more swaps.
Yeah.
Down, like especially for Haven. For Haven, at least I was looking at the thing that looks best. Rob told me one thing that worked better. You put Bushka at breach shot. You put breach shot at boom shield. You put nades at Bushka and torque. You can leave digger in the middle if you want. Don't have to be there. You can put something else there, but it's not a problem being there. That way you don't have to get Bushka. You don't have to get this. You can opt to play around. Somebody wins Bushka, you can go around and get breach shot. And Bushka's in the open, and like Rob was explaining to me, putting it like that, it kind of makes it like Clock Tower, having the big power weapon all the way out in the side open, and then the sniper's kind of up top in its own enclosed area. And it works, because I mean, a Bushka, you can't just run right in and get it, you got to work for it. I mean, you could try to run right in and get it, but any smart team's going to sit back on that Legend Lancer you or rifle you or whatever, you're going to die. And breach shot, you can just, you got to fight your way in, because it's in close quarters.
Yeah. The biggest problem right now with that map is just the fact that the blue team gets a power weapon right away, and the red team doesn't. I mean, they get one, but not instantly. So, I think the consensus was you were putting inks there, Kenny.
Yeah, Bushka and Torque
was as well.
Yeah, Bushka and Torque. I would make grenades, frag, ink, incend, whatever people would think is best. Probably ink.
Is ink one nade when you pick it up?
Yeah, one nade.
Yeah, it's one.
But then obviously ammo box, that changes everything.
You can put an ammo box on.
What's up?
There's Bath, and then there's the opposite side. They both have an ammo box, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, personally, I wish, and I don't think I put this in the list, I wish you were able to change the ammo boxes or put them down in certain places. Instead, they're just there.
Oh,
You
really?
can't even edit them.
That would.
You cannot edit ammo boxes, and there's like 2 on every map. And the thing that sucks is that these ammo boxes are actually in some pretty sweet power weapon locations. They're put in good spots, but you can't even play with them. They're stuck.
With those ink grenades that you swapped, like, I almost just want to take both of those away. I mean, it's just annoying that the blue team gets one immediately, and the red team has to
go out of their way.
Way to grab it. By the time they get to the fight, in terms of execution, it's kind of like pointless.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
just
yeah,
big
if I
imbalance.
could, I'd rather have nades at those ammo boxes because that's perfect.
Yeah, and you'd prefer that. Yeah, that would be better.
Yeah,
But we
nades
can't
at the
right now.
ammo boxes and the ammo boxes over there would completely change the map and balance it out much better. And then both teams would get their weapon at the same. Again, it comes down to times to get a power weapon. It's the same concept, same problem. One thing really, really small, I only want to touch on it for maybe a minute. We spoke about pretty much everything today. We spoke about inks, we spoke about stamps, we spoke about melees, the weapons. The only weapon that we didn't touch that I do think needs to be touched upon, only for a second, is the shotgun. Kenny, I think you had the same cliff notes I did, and I had a lot of. This was a huge one for me as a response to emails. How many times it was mentioned. The 2 things I think needed to happen with the shotgun. It's so close to being perfect. Is that you have to get? I think 16 bullets does matter.
Yeah.
I think it will help out the game and all the game modes overall play better if you start with 16 bullets rather than 8.
Mm-hmm.
And the only other thing that I think is going to really, really help, because everyone's complaining about these point blanks all the time, is slightly, and I mean slightly. When I say slightly, I mean ever so slightly. We're talking 5-10%. Just bring that spread in a little bit. just about 5-10%. And I think some of you guys have the same cliff notes as I did with that, and that was a huge one that everyone was mentioning to me in my emails. They were just like, just that the spread needs to be in the reticule. That's all I'm saying. Like a small percentage, bring it in, just so that's inside the reticule, so people, when they point blank someone, they don't feel like those 6 pellets that are outside the reticule are not hitting. That's all.
Do people understand? And this is just a general question. Do you guys understand by a tighter spread, you make it go further?
Oh yeah, yeah, of course.
And so it's more accurate at range.
But it's basically useless at long range or longer ranges right now. So I mean, it wouldn't really affect it.
I don't think there's a damage drop off, so it would affect it, and that you're hitting more people at a further distance. So we're going to be introducing either a Gears 2-esque.
No, not even close.
I promise you guys, with the tighter spread.
No, the thing is, like, with Gears 2, I mean, and Gears 3 and all that, when you hip fire, I mean, that's your thing. There's no L trigger. If you just bring it in that little bit, that was the difference in Gears 3 and 2. You could L trigger and just bring that spread into a tight circle. You can't do that here. So, I mean, if you just pulled it in that tiny bit.
There is no damage drop off, though. So that is what I'm, like, you guys don't understand. Like, there's no damage drop off. So, like, you're going to be 2-hit, 3-shot, or 3-shotting people, like, pretty far. Like, I don't know. This is just something where I'm very against this, like, proposed, let's put the Gnasher spread inside the reticle. I don't think people realize how that affects long-range play. Like, you guys are basically asking for a Gears 2, Gears 3 Gnasher. Inadvertently was saying, let's put it inside the spread.
No, that tiny movement is not going to even, it's not going to get close to something like that. It won't. It's not possible because you can't make the spread that tight. In Gears, a tiny movement like that, you're just bringing in the box of this little movement. You're not bringing into that tight circle, that power shot that you could do in Gears 3 and 2.
Have you seen the spread at range? Like, have you tested it up against a wall? If you stand pretty far back and see how far it spreads out?
Yeah, it spreads
out
pretty damn far.
Inside the box?
It spreads out pretty far. Shooting that thing long range, I'm lucky if a pellet hits somebody.
Here's the thing. When you look at Gears of War 3, right? There was 3 different types of shotgun pellets in Gears of War 3, right? What was the most accurate? The most accurate shot in Gears of War 3 was a quick L trigger, right? It was extremely small. It probably took about maybe 50% of the reticule. It was extremely condensed. The second best shot in Gears of War 3 was an L trigger. An L trigger was about, I'd say, only takes about 60 to 65% of the reticule. So again, it was still much, much smaller than the reticule. Hence why it was so good long range, and hence why it was so devastating as a gun period. And then the blind fire shot was within the reticule, but the blind fire shot was not anywhere near as accurate as a quick LT or an LT. So the whole point
I'm saying is 80% or 65% of the people use the Gnasher in this game right now. You guys are asking for a tighter spread on a game that's already Gnasher heavy to make it even more powerful, because it's going to be basically effectively taking people out of range.
Yeah, but the game is only Gnasher heavy because we're being...
I'm talking about the slightest difference. It's not going to be as drastic as you're making it sound to be.
Yeah, when it comes down to a game being Gnasher heavy, we don't have a choice. Why am I don't want to use a damn rifle. I want a shotgun.
I have no opposition to it. Do you guys understand the gravity of what you're asking?
No, I know, but like you're thinking it's gonna somehow turn into that super tight like circle spread, and it won't even come close. 5%, that little movement, there's no way that comes close to a GAU 2 or 3L trigger.
You said inside. Again, I don't care about 5 to 10%. That number is negligible. Inside of the reticule is what I'm hearing. Inside
my number on my notes is 5%. 5%. That's what I want. That's not even going to come close.
Bring it in closer. All I'm saying is bring it 5 to 10% closer in. If it's still outside the reticule, then fine. But I'm talking about bringing in just a little bit, so it's a little bit more consistent.
I really want you guys to test it.
I would love to be able to test it.
I imagine you guys would be like, "Oh man, it's so fucking sweet."
Well, this is the thing. I don't know how these things work. I would love to be able to test it, but I don't know how much it's going to actually affect it. So I'm just spitting numbers that I think will work.
Britt,
again, I've seen this.
How do you
I'm
feel
just going
about
to throw this out again. This is something I've seen. 5 to 10% spread on a shotgun barrel drastically changes it. That's the only part I want to make about it. Is like, we're trying to do, balanced weapons. If we want to make it shotguns only, then, tightening the spread is definitely going to make it that much. I mean, hey, listen, I love CQC Gears. That's what it's all about. But
Yeah, I think it's a huge adjustment coming from Gears 3. The shotgun is very different. After playing on land finally with the game, the shotgun wasn't what I was used to either. Like I was like, wow, like I'm on land now, and these shots are still not like registering like I think they would. But it's more of an adjustment with the game, and I don't know. I mean, I'm indifferent with that change, but I'm curious what Brittany has to say about it.
I like the shotgun the way it is, and I know we were talking about lancers and rifles, and as far as melees and stuff, and I hate to bring it back to that, but that's the only defense as far as a rifle. As Fatal mentioned last week, it's a risk reward kind of thing. He said it for smoke grenades, but it's the same thing for our weaponry as well. If we choose the rifles, the risk is there's going to be heavy shotgun players. So that's our only hope is to melee. That's all we have. As far as the Gnasher goes, it's supposed to be a close range weapon, and I don't think the spread should be changed in order to get more range on it. I just don't understand that logic at all. I don't know.
People, the argument is they want it to be more consistent. But when you tighten the spread, yeah, it's more consistent. But you add range, I don't know. It's like if you want to use it, point blank somebody. That's how it's supposed to be used. I don't know. It's really tough.
It's really looking at how the game is now. If melees and all that are taken care of, it's not going to be as big of a deal, that spread, as it is now. This is all looking at the game as it is right now. Like if the melees and all the rifles were taken care of and they were done right, I doubt I would even be caring about a Gnasher spread or really noticing it.
Oh wow, my keyboard's that loud.
As everybody's typing away.
That was like it sounded like a tarantula was walking around my keyboard. Holy shit.
Sorry, I'm a heavy typer.
I don't know. Pretty much that's the way I look at it. I'll make a video on it. I'll do a nice video on it. I'll get it together, and I'll go over the differences in Gears 3, how drastic it is. Because I understand where you're coming from, Kale. I know you want to stay away from this, and I agree with you that this far range type of shotgun battle we don't want to have. But I'll just make a video on it. There's no other way to do it. You know.
It could open more, another can of worms. That's the thing. We changed
that.
If
anything with the Gnasher, it needs more shots.
But yeah, we'll look into it more. I don't want to waste all of our time on that. I think my biggest question for you guys is a lot of us, we all got a bunch of input from a bunch of people sending us emails. Is there any other really big topics? I have quite a few that you guys got from people.
My big thing with Gears is the sound.
That's a good
I know
point.
the verticality is going to add another dimension as far as the gameplay goes, but if people are above me and even sometimes across the map, if someone's fighting at Digger and I'm at the ammo box where you can go up the steps to go to snipe there, it sounds like they're right on top of me. There's no muffle of any sound or anything like that. And then also distinguishing footsteps between the red team and blue team, I think would be great. I know we don't have the Locust versus Cog, so you have that different sound now, but sometimes I'm like a paranoid crack addict because, I'm turning around, but it's just my teammate coming on me. I thought it was an enemy. I would like distinguishing sounds on that.
The other sound issue I've noticed is the throwing of grenades. I believe I've heard a nade get tossed, and I swear it's like I threw it, but I don't know if it was one of my teammates or maybe it's due to the verticality, like you said. Maybe they're above me and there's no distance modifier to the sound. I'm not sure, but I've heard. I know that there's some sort of inconsistency with nades being tossed by someone else on the map, and it sounds like it's directly behind me. I don't know if anyone else has had that experience.
I have a couple. I'm gonna agree with what Brittany said about the sound, and I swear this is something we told them, Brittany.
I think it was me, you, and Predator were kind of on this at the table.
The sound is just off, and it's just because of the verticality. It's the spatial orientation of where players are. It's really confusing, and I'm gonna go ahead and. This is a little bit different from what you said with the nades Immortal, but kind of in the same vein. You talk about the sound of the nades. I can't stand when someone throws a frag and I don't know where it's at.
Yeah.
That is so annoying to me in Overrun and in regular multiplayer. Like, why take away the? I mean, you get a notification when it's stuck to you, so why not get a notification that there's a frag sitting right by you? Like, it really doesn't matter with the other ones because you can visually see them. Like, you can see a spot, you can see a smoke, you can see an ink, you can see a stem. You can't see the frag. So, why they made it so that there's no on screen HUD except for when you get stuck is really messed up for me. And like,
makes them really powerful.
It makes them a lot stronger than they need to be. If I just need to know I need to roll to the left or right, like, that makes that stick that much more important for it. And that also makes, like, people sitting in stem, like, you throw it down. I guess that's kind of what the counter is maybe for stem, is you throw down a frag, you don't know where it's at if you're sitting in the stem. But that's one of the biggest pet peeves I have with the nades right now. It's like, particularly the frags, is the sound, which you mentioned, and then I just don't know where the fuck they are. Like, it's really messing me up. A couple things that I had some people talk about were locusts. That's, again, that could be played into sound. People wanting, instead of red versus blue, cog versus locust. It's neither here nor there for me personally. And then the other one was, it seems like a lot of people are talking about the boom shield combo. Do you guys feel like that's a problem?
No.
Is it just,
I love the boom shield, man.
No,
It's a
boom
power
shield does what
weapon
it's
to me.
supposed to do, and there's so many ways to stop it. I think
It's
I know.
so good.
A nade counters it. That's it.
Yeah, I mean,
Did you guys
Mailing.
see the female versus male video though?
Yeah.
That one of the guys made.
Yep.
Yes.
The only thing that's awkward with the boom shield is that the males, when they're facing towards you, their face is automatically fully covered, and the females are not.
Right.
So that's
it's
weird.
Yeah, it's strange.
The female's face is like literally like the boom shield's right here, and her face is entirely exposed. With a male, the shield comes over and like completely covers their face. There's nothing you can do about it. So when you're facing forward, at least. So that video was extremely interesting when I saw that. It like literally with a male, it's completely different. And the only thing that also was awkward is did you guys see the hitbox video?
Yes, I have.
Kim best character in the game, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yes. He's
ridiculous.
broken. Like, that man is just
Mr.
he's
Clean
just,
can't
you know,
be touched.
Mr. Clean. Like,
If you
literally.
guys didn't see
you
the
cannot
video,
touch that man.
Kim is currently the only character, I believe, that the top half of his head does no damage whatsoever. So, if you're-
Abram, I think, is the one that released that video. He tweeted
Yeah.
at us, and then
Yeah.
It was a
we got
great
some retweets
video.
on it.
So we're gonna
Uh,
ban Asians now?
Nah, I didn't like that.
They just got to fix it, whatever the issue is,
He's got to add a little bit back to the top, He's got all that hair missing, and then they just took away his hitbox, He's got to add back a little bit, that's all.
Some other things that I'm looking at people, I want to make sure like I read some of these off,
Yep.
just because they were frequent. Two loadouts, I think we kind of hit on that a couple times. Maybe we might have to talk about that separately in another episode. I feel like we talked about it a couple times already, but that's one that's been popping up a lot. And then I just saw it a second ago. Well, there's objective game types, more of them. And hold on, let me. Oh, default control scheme. How do you guys feel about the control scheme?
I like it better.
I use it.
yeah, it doesn't affect my play, but I know people would love to map buttons and stuff like that.
I think something in the future. It's not too critical right now, but I've always said it. Having customization just for the player. You never know. Somebody might play left-handed. They might want it a different way. It's just not everyone is a right-handed Gears of War player. Some people might want to play it slightly differently. They might need that D-pad. They might want to use that. I don't use it, but there's someone else who might really want to have that customization. That be able to mappable buttons and make it work the way they want. Not everyone plays the same. So
I don't know. I think the
obviously
D-pad
that'd
just
be
gives
great, but-
operator error on that.
What's
Because I
up?
know I would go for my shoddy a lot with the D-pad, and I would bring out my smoke. So I
Oh,
like the
yeah.
Y button better. It's just
It's
less
frustrating.
error.
You could switch it around. Like, it just, who knows? Maybe like if you're, I don't know, using a Razer Sabertooth, and then you take like one of the left mappable
Wink.
buttons and you put that on a take that and then throw it on the Y button. You could switch weapons, a little bit easier. You could switch it around.
Yeah,
It's
got
just
plenty
this,
of options
like,
with
you
that
could use a
controller,
controller like
guys.
that, or if you don't want to do that, then what you could do is, if it's available in the game, then yes, that is a really, really big deal, and that's going to help people a lot. So I mean, there's so many ways to go about it, but when it's in game and you have that option, it does make it a lot better just for the user in general. Not saying it has to be done, but it would be something nice for. I'm sure other people would really like that. There are some really unorthodox players out there that just play differently.
Well, there definitely is. I mean, customization should be in every game like that. Mapping buttons, that'd be great. I really wish it was
There's
there.
nothing wrong with it. It doesn't hurt us in any way.
Nope.
However you want to play, here's the game. Play that way. I think one of the biggest topics I had, two things. One, I guess we could all hit on it. Like the playlists. We have way too many damn playlists.
Yeah,
It's
no.
insane.
Jim said they were going to fix that.
Oh, good. The sooner the better. The sooner the better.
He said
Thank
that
you.
on the live stream. He actually said that happened, and they're going to get that worked out.
He said it was a technical snafu.
Technical snafu.
If we were going to give a quick analysis on that, just as a group, what would you guys say needs to go?
I
VIP.
had one word. I would
Yeah.
just say consolidate.
Just
Like-
cut VIP. I don't see the point of it. Like,
VIP, and then give more
And
incentive
DLC?
on rank.
make it so that you get the XP boost from doing ranked if you have VIP. Like that's
I
the
don't know
best
if
way
they
to
can
do it.
programmatically do that. I don't know.
Well,
Like-
I don't understand why that wasn't designed that way in the first place. Like just having a whole separate playlist just because what? Because you purchased a season pass? I just think I'm sorry. I think it's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. It's just
the reason
it's
I
one of the
bought
dumbest
it.
things I've ever seen. It makes
I
no
only bought it
sense at
because
all.
double XP.
Like
I
if
only
you-
bought it because of double XP.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, it just
Oh man.
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. When you play ranked, whether you play execution, TDM, domination, free for all, whatever it may be, overrun. If you bought a season pass, you should earn your double XP either way. That's the whole point of buying it, isn't it?
they still have to value that double XP for sure. So, like I said, I don't know if it's possible.
Instead of the
Point.
playlist, well, let me just say, I think the answer is however they do it, consolidate.
Mhm.
I'm not going to touch ranked and quick because we could get into that and I'll be talking for hours because I just hate it. I hate the system. But the rare Dropbox stuff, the prize box system is so bad.
It's flawed.
It's
Unbelievably
so bad.
You know what I feel like? I feel like I'm running around the grass in Pokemon and hoping I get lucky.
It is so bad. Why, when I get a rare box or whatever it is, I think that's the highest you can get. Why am I getting XP?
It's like, oh sweet, I can't wait to open. Oh, this sucks.
It's so bad. And that's one of those pages from free to play where they got it wrong. If you look at prize boxes, typically when you go rare or whatever it is beyond that, they're not giving you things like XP. They're giving you like the weapon skins or something of that nature. Like, I don't know. It's just bad. It's really bad. Failed attempt
could have been done a
at
lot better,
incorporating free to play right there.
I mean, it was another good attempt at them trying to incorporate that, but it wasn't done right. It's just another one of those things that just wasn't done right. I don't know if it was just not enough time or they just overlooked it and thought it was fine for some reason. I don't know, but it sucks.
One more
Alright,
thing
so-
on my wish list. I'll just throw it out there.
Okay.
As far as Overrun goes, Arctic may remember this. With Overrun, with the COG side, there were actually different upgrades that you could have during the game, and now
Are
they're
we supposed to say that?
I don't know.
I almost
talked
brought that
about
up on the
it having
previous
gotten
episode.
So
If Will or Jim, are we allowed to say
Whoops.
that?
And
and I have been banned from.
whoopsie.
where's that face at?
You know what?
I've
You know what? You already started it, so you just might as well.
It's too late
finish it.
now.
It's too late.
Yeah.
You could just leave it.
I
What
want
did
it
you guys
back.
do today?
What did we do today? We played some Overrun.
Nice.
We went to Epic and we played the real Overrun. Are they still in there?
To be continued.
Yeah, Rax in the
Talk
chat.
away. Jim says talk away. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'll go to jail, and me and Betsy Sue will.
Jim says talk. Go ahead. Go ahead. You're good.
I'm okay.
Yes.
That's all I had to say. Was I want the upgrades back. I didn't
Okay.
say what they were.
You didn't say what they were?
No,
Go ahead and say what they were.
just one.
Jim said talk.
Okay. Anyways, you could upgrade. You could upgrade your weaponry or your powers, I guess. Like
That's cool.
the turret for Baird, would be a little bit better. Bushka for Cole, that good stuff. Upgrades, and that's all I'm gonna say because I don't really want.
Upgrade, yeah.
That's
Well,
it.
yeah, that's fine. Like,
Buchka, that'd be nice.
I mean, we kind of talked about that. We said,
talked about it kind of
yeah, we said
indirectly.
overrun. Yeah, we said, overrun.
I just made
I
sure
don't
wasn't
understand
going
why
to
there's
say
not upgrades for COG. I don't get it. And now, well, apparently there was. So I guess I'm just even more confused. Why are they not there? That's whatever.
All right.
it.
Well,
You know what? You know what? Here, let's go ahead and talk about that. All right, so there were upgrades, and everyone that was at the playtest, I think for the most part, when you were playing, didn't use the upgrades. Like, you would want to get back into the action so fast that you would skip over your upgrade. I don't know if it wasn't prominent on the screen. You had to go through too many menus to select on their UI and their HUD, and they just said, you know what, this is too confusing. We're not going to do this. I think that's why it wasn't included, but it should be, because right now the depth is all on the locust side, and it's really flat on the cog side, and that upgrade system added to it. And I think the other thing that, instead of me making that suggestion with the upgrade system, actually said that they should instead introduce different weapons, like, for this week, instead of the Bushka, Cole now has a boom shot, or he has the torque bow, or you know what I mean. Instead of that, that's what they need to switch it to. That would kind of add some breath to it.
I know a lot of people don't like Overrun, but for us that play it, I
don't understand why,
throw that
but
out there.
whatever.
Yeah, Overrun is pretty sweet. It's pretty badass game type.
Okay.
Kenny knows.
Spectator.
I love it. It's fun.
Spectator.
All right, can we end this just real quick? No, I don't mean like end this right now. But can we end this talking about?
Yeah.
I hate to bring it up right now, but this is like, we kind of hit on it a couple times, but Treyarch did it right. That's all I'm gonna say. Treyarch did it right with the event that we just saw, and there's some features in there that I hope that Epic says, man, this would be awesome if we actually spent some time developing this a little bit further. And that could be spectator mode. That could be, just if they're going to help out the esports community, again, don't do a half-ass thing. Go all in.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Treyarch went all in. And I would love to see some more beneficial features that make it into Epic Games titles, because it's severely lacking. So
I think the best way to describe this right now is, Arctic, me and you spoke about this directly. I feel like, I'm going to say the game, I don't care, but Call of Duty has maximized their potential for their game. I feel like their game is where it needs to be right now. And I'm not talking about just because it has $1 million tournament. I'm talking developer support and just making their game the best that it could be. In regards to us, I'm not going to lie, I feel like we're 25% to where our game can be at its maximum potential. I think the bridge between the developers and the community has been gapped for too long, and we're starting to narrow that gap, and Epic is starting to work a lot harder. And I think if they ever went down that path, I think that a lot of people that stopped playing would be coming back to play Gears, because everyone loves playing the game. We all play the game because we love the game. We just love what it is. Whether it's the clutch factor and execution, the fact that it's third person, the movement, the shotgun, whatever it is that you like it for. The crazy nasty headshots with guts spilling all over the floor. There's some reason why all of us still play Gears.
There's that word that I hate about Gears of War, is potential. Like, you hit it 100% on the head. And I just want to say this because, there's people from Epic in here. As a studio, I probably supported Epic longer than any other studio. And to see how much unfulfilled potential they have done year after year with all of their titles, from dating back to Unreal all the way up to, when we saw Gears of War drop, we were like, oh my God, this is the shit. And then we thought Gears of War 2 was going to be this just magnificent title. It launched with bugs. It launched with stuff that just didn't work. And it's just like, it's so much unfulfilled potential for a AAA studio. I would really love if, like, Epic, whatever title they go, if it's going to be Fortnite, whatever the case may be, because, I mean, you got my support no matter what. Go all fucking in. Please. Like, go hard and be like, this is, all right, there's nothing else I could do. Like, community, like, if you don't like this, I gave it 110%. And I don't feel like we have that. I don't feel like we have that as a community. And I would so love that from Epic.
Yeah.
And I just don't feel like that is what we get. I feel like we get, all right, we're going to spend 25, like you said, 25% of our resources making Gears of War 2 just to pump it out. Yep. And that comes off as a money grab. And you hear that word a lot. I don't really say that, but you hear that a lot in just people trying to bash the game, like giving us half-assed efforts. And that's just how I feel as just a hardcore fan of Epic Games as a studio. Like, I feel slighted all the time with year after year with every title, barring Gears 1 because I was blown away. But like Gears 2, Gears 3, and Gears 3 was the best effort so far, but it was still short. And it's just year after year. It's like, I don't know.
Here's the thing. In Gears, right, every time we come out with a sequel, we take 2 steps forward, but we take 3 steps back. And what's the reason for that all the time? Because our community needs to be on board with our developer, so if it ain't broken, they don't fix it. That's the problem. There's so many times we'll have 3 things that go great, and then 4 things that go wrong, all because of the gap between the community and the developer. We need to close that gap, which we're working on. We're fixing it. We're making it better. But the biggest deal right now is that if it ain't broken, Epic, don't fix it. No more goddamn Ninja updates. I don't want to ever see that again. I love you guys, but I don't want to see it. You know, let's make it happen. You know,
Rex said it ain't gonna happen.
Yep.
I don't want to see that again. Like, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. We don't need to do it. No reason.
Yeah. And this is where I kind of, I said I had a little announcement based off what me and Rack talked about. It's nothing like content or anything like that. It's basically something that gave me a lot of faith in what they're doing right now, because I was talking to Raxzilla a lot yesterday, and I had to ask because I didn't understand it, because we've been given this whole show before. Yeah, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna do it all. Nothing. And I'm just too used to it. So I asked them. I was like, what's going on in the past week that all of a sudden you guys are just all in, coming to us, asking us for a wish list to fix the game, asking us to do this, do that, work with you, do anything we can? And I was like, can you answer that? And he did. And then I had to ask him, can I put that out there on the stream to let everybody know? And he did. So I'm just gonna read off what he said, and it was an eye opener for me. I loved it. This is what he said. He said, I think ultimately what you're seeing is that Epic really wants to evolve into a company that's more service-based, and we understand that having experience with a living product is really important. Aside from that, it's the right thing to do. I've only been here a couple of years, but I feel like we've changed a lot since I've been here. I think some of it is hard to see, but we're at a tipping point right now where people are starting to see that from the outside as well. And he said, and the crappy thing that happened with the rifles was a great turning point and something that was discussed extensively here last week. Because it was a bad look, made no sense, and was the perfect example of us to examine how we do things and say this is no longer acceptable. The good news is that this is a top-down mentality here. Our leadership is really behind this evolution. I think it's going to take some time, and we'll probably hit some roadblocks and make some mistakes, but we're going to keep at it, get better, and get it right. And for Rack to say that to me, I mean, that was huge. I've never heard something like that. We're used to Cliffy, like, oh yeah, I love esports. He never did shit. I don't care. He was all lip service, just talk, look pretty on. He didn't do anything. I'm sorry, he pissed me off. But Rack saying that, I was so happy to hear that. I really was. I love it. I really do. I love what's happening all of a sudden. I hope it keeps up. I hope it's not just all talk. I really do, because we're too used to it. We're too used to it. I hope all these words turn into action, because it has to happen.
I mean, we're starting to see action right now. And in regards to the Cliffy B comment, I mean, not trying to put the man on blast, but all I can remember about that guy was when Gears of War got dropped off the MLG circuit, Murray, in an interview, asked him if he knew what was going on with Gears of War 2 competitively and on the MLG scene. And when he told him that it was dropped, Cliffy was just like, oh, the game got dropped, really? Like, they didn't even know. Like, they didn't even know that the game was gone. They didn't know anything that was going on, because Microsoft was funding the game, not Epic at the time. So, it sucks. However, I mean, after meeting Rack and everyone at PAX, I never met, a group of guys who are constantly asking me for constructive criticism. You know what I mean? Like, they were just every single time I was off the FFA station, yo, Joe, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? What do you think about this? Like, just constantly wanting constructive criticism and really good input. And they were looking for it. They don't have to do that. I usually would feel that I would have to go to them and do that. I'd have to be like, hey guys, you got a couple minutes that you could take a minute and talk to me so that we could talk about these points and those points. I didn't even have a chance to do it. I walked in the venue. I was within 15 feet of the booth. They walk up to me and all of a sudden they start talking to me about it. So, I do think that there is, again, I hate the word potential, but they are giving us quick updates and slowly things are starting to change. So hopefully we see these big changes installed, though. We do need another patch, period. This game, as of right now, is not doable without another major patch. That is a fact. This game is not going to go where you want to go competitively if you do not give us one more major patch, and most of the points that we have talked about tonight are not addressed. And there's many other points that I have too, but I'm sure we have to close the show out soon, so I'll make sure I hit all of those into in the emails from the community. And that's pretty much it. That's all I got to say about it. But yeah, there is potential.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys got anything to say on that. Anything else you want to touch base on? Because it's been almost 2 hours now. But I definitely wanted to get that in before the end because I had to do that.
I could bring a little tournament report for you guys very quickly. Keep it to 2 minutes. Some hot topics here. I'll try to keep it to 2. Very quickly, just going to throw some pictures on screen. And if I do this right, this will look pretty cool. Okay. So Kenny and I went to the 2v2 tournament that I had spoke to you guys about. It was in South Jersey. It happened this past Saturday. It was brought on by GameBoat, and you guys could check them out at game-boat.com. It was at Harper's Pub in New Jersey. I wasn't really sure how to push this tournament because I hadn't met these guys before and I hadn't been there. But after going, if these guys host anything else, man, you guys need to go. Toxicity was also a partner. There you guys see Nunez and Chubbs, who took home the 2v2 event. Congrats to them. Here's the setup, pretty much. Toxic Network and GameBoat. What is there? 6 teams? There are only 6 teams out there. So, like I said, these guys need to, we're going to help them promote their next tournaments, and I have confidence in doing so. Very down-to-earth individuals. Prizes were great. There was raffles. Gal games were going out. So, really cool guys. I'm gonna cut the full screen of me. Now, the bad news with talking about tournaments in New Jersey would be at this point, the government of Jersey, the state had contacted tournament organizers in the state, telling them that you cannot hold tournaments for money. You can't hold tournaments for paid entry right now, or whatever the case would be. Pretty much warning them that if you do this, something will happen. So what does that mean? Well, for me, that's kind of interesting. I do some freelance work with some casinos. My dad has worked in the industry for 30 years. So the term gaming, a lot of laws were set in place in the 70s with Atlantic City and the gaming industry. So basically, I spoke to my dad about it, and we put a note out to a state representative, really just to figure out what does it mean. So wrote a note, and I'm waiting on a response back. Basically, was this confused by events? Basically, they're saying it's a chance. These video game tournaments have chance, and maybe you need a license or you need to be age 21 or whatever the case. But you guys understand that this is a competition. This isn't a game of chance. We know that it's not the same thing as gambling at a casino, whatever the rules are in place. So I'm not sure 100% what it means or why they're pushing the tournament organizers that you can't hold events for money in that state. But I'm trying to find out, and I got a note out, so hopefully maybe next week I'll have some more news on that. So that means the NJ Halo for this coming Saturday is canceled. So if you're planning on going to that, planning on booking a hotel, do not do that. I can say that there is, hopefully plans to find an event somewhere in New York or Pennsylvania, and I'm not really sure what places like local battles are going to be able to do, but I can tell you as of right now, you can't, I guess, legally hold tournaments in New Jersey for cash with a buy-in. So that's a little update there. Future tournaments, though, on the rise. There's online events. MLG had their 4v4 tournament last week execution. There's another 4v4 tournament this Sunday online. There's a 1v1 execution tournament. RG Live's holding some events. What I would really like to see is more free-for-all events. Kenny, I think you're talking about holding some. I think it'd be really easy for people to get in and start playing in some FFA tournaments.
Colin
And,
and I actually have some of that stuff planned specifically for my YouTube channel because I'm hoping to get more casual people involved with the whole competitive scene with that. But we have some stuff planned as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna be doing weekly free for all Fridays, pretty much free for all tourneys. I don't know if I'm gonna make it like a small buy-in, like $1 to $5. I don't know, anybody hop in and get money, but Rack already told me he's gonna get stuff to give out for prizes. You know, shirts, stuff signed by the teams, stuff like that. So, I mean, it's another thing Epic's trying to back right now. They're all working with us. Another league that is happening. You guys may not all love them, but Prodigy X is starting the game Cyber Bowl, and he hit me up with the info on it. I can't give you all the stuff on it, but the website is going live this weekend, and he's gonna hop on next Wednesday just for a little bit and talk about it and really push it. But it sounds really great for competitive he's trying to make their site a home for Gears of War. I mean, if you think about it, there's not really a home for competitive Gears. I mean, it's typically like, maybe the GB forums, Epic forums, but it's not really competitive side. We don't have that anymore. We tried that last years, but it went away with Gears Up.
Is in regard to a site that's a home for it. I mean, yeah, technically, we usually don't go on the Epic forums too much just because it gets a little touchy on there. But yeah, if you're talking about a website for a home for Gears, then yeah. But if you're talking about competitively a home for Gears, we've had hype for a while now. I feel like that's been like the premier tournament that's been holding it down. But yeah, I think I talked to I was working with Rob for that event I casted for him. So when I was casting with Rob on that first Cyber Bowl event he did, that's when I really got the knowledge drop on everything going on with it. I've been keeping quiet, just waiting for him to release it, but I do think it's going to be great. It's definitely it's a big player. It's definitely a big player that's going to be added into the scene, and I can't talk about it right now because I'm not allowed to, but it is going to be very, very big. And the one thing I will say, since I am working for Hype, Barbossa's been blowing it up like crazy. You guys got no idea what's coming. You really don't have a clue. You really don't. Like, it's going to be – I'm really excited for that. That's all I'm going to say.
It'll be a star-studded Gears of War event.
I'm very excited to see where it's going, and I'm honored to be able to work with them. The main reason I don't compete anymore is because my time is put into that. I have no time for anything else. If I hop in ranked, it's to test. I don't scrim. I don't have time for all that right now. So
whatever's going on behind the scenes, thank all you guys working on that project.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm not even involved at all, so I'm not updating you on what's going on in that sense. But don't forget, the word Hypefestation is a huge presence, and I can't wait to have some news shared to the public on that.
Yeah, what we've been preaching every week, guys. You gotta just keep doing everything you can to keep this game going, and with Epic support like we're seeing right now, I'm sure it's gonna happen. Another tournament that will be happening though, I am organizing with Frag Nation. They're going to be hosting a 4v4 Gal Judgment tournament, and they're already working to do 3 of them. The first one's going to be a test event, so you got to show up. If you want the bigger tournament, you got to show up for the smaller ones. That's how it is. Nobody's going to sign on for a big tournament unless they know the teams are there. So it's going to be a small 32-team online 4v4 tournament. I don't have all the prizes yet. I was hoping I was going to get them tonight. In fact, I don't even know if I did. I just haven't been able to check. But if anything, if I have them already, I'll put them out tomorrow.
Someone that sent us some video this week. Can you bring that up when we close out on this? It was Death Cloud's Up A.
Oh.
Isn't that ridiculous? I don't know how many of you guys have seen this.
I can probably throw that up, yeah.
Death Cloud's excited right now.
Yeah, this was actually pretty nuts. I'm not gonna lie, this was nuts. His little Up A montage.
Reshot, I saw that. Now my jaw dropped.
Here we go.
Are we gonna have a feature video of the week or something going on now?
We should do that.
Yeah, we should do that because we've been throwing out this just put out, and like people are sending us videos. So, the ones that are phenomenal, I've been making sure I comment on them so my subs see it and liking it, and I'm doing all that stuff.
Yeah, whether it be a clip, maybe we do a certain hashtag along with it.
How funny is it that you can hear Blaze at the beginning of this?
I'm gonna put this up.
I was cracking up.
You got it.
Yeah, here, I'm just gonna throw it up in front of everything. Here you go.
Yeah, go ahead. There you go. Hashtag just put out, guys. If you're pushing Gears content, don't forget it.
Oof.
That was
Like,
cute.
how was that one even possible?
I don't even know.
Like, I was
He's
like,
This
reaction
one-
shotting.
because
He's
it's not-
reaction
look at
shotting
that
all
one.
these. These are dirty.
Oh, this one right here is great too.
Oh man, that's dirty.
Just
Like the updates are what's ridiculous to me.
Oh, my
just
God.
insane, you know?
It's an amazing
Insane.
piece.
Every
But
time
these
he
updates
turns-
are just like what? Mind-boggling.
For every time you guys hear me flap my lips about reaction shots, that's what a reaction shot is. When you up A off a cover, you turn your camera angle, and then you just line up a shot. People have done that with shotguns for a long time now. It's been done since Gears of War 1. But seeing a weapon like a breach shot with that,
And that wasn't just a
It's
brief shot
just-
though. There was a sniper that he
Oh,
did
yeah.
it with too.
Mhm.
yep.
Just ridiculous.
If someone's like chasing behind you and they line up and you get like a long shot collateral reaction shot,
Oh,
like
yeah.
there is nothing flashier than that.
Of course.
There's nothing flashier. Like that is like the flashiest shot you can ever have in the game. The only way you can do it better is you can reaction shot and the guy's like in midair or
Oh,
something.
that's not the link.
So that's the only way it can be better. But yeah, that's absolutely disgusting.
There you go.
Is that the full link?
Yeah, the shortened
over
link
there.
isn't clickable for some reason.
Click that. Hit him a like. Subscribe. Do all that stuff that you need to. That shit was sick. And I hope that he puts out more stuff like that because that was ridiculous. Like, ridiculous.
Instant sub for me.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, shit.
Instant
I mean,
suck.
we've got almost 2 hours now. This is-
All right.
I mean, we didn't even touch base on everything on the master. We touched base on the main points though, and it's not like the master wish list is going to be some private thing. So anything we didn't miss, we're going to put out there and make sure you guys all see it when we send it over to Epic. And we are taking everybody's advice on it. That's why we ask for all the emails. We're trying to hear from everyone. It's not just us. We want to hear from all of you.
Email us. Over 300 of you emailed me in 4 days. That is awesome. Keep freaking doing it. Like, I haven't slept in 24 hours because of it, because I had midterms and I had to read them all. But, some of the thoughts you guys came up with were absolutely amazing. And some of your points that you made were fantastic. So just keep doing it, And then we'll all try to edit it. We'll try to pick out all the great pieces. We'll all talk about it. And then we'll try to send it over to Epic immediately so that they can get to work on it, whatever they choose to do. Hopefully, the more the better.
Yeah, if you guys have any suggestions, there's my email I'm using for it. Send anything over that you think we haven't touched base on. But right now, I'm pretty sure we're going to be signing off because it's 11, and this is the longest we've ever gone. And I didn't even want to go this long, but with a topic like this, you can just go for hours.
Yeah.
So, you guys want to go around the circle, do your shout-outs, put your plug sponsors if you got them, all that fun stuff. Go ahead.
Vesa. I want to shout out to Vesa and my Sabertooth controller. Go get it. All my teammates. You guys, obviously putting on this show. Kenny, it's fantastic. I don't want it, man. I'm trying to get into this commentating stuff. So anything on the weekends, as long as it's past 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the evening, I'm down to do some commentating on people's games. And we'll be doing some subscriber stuff for people to try to get them into the competitive scene. So I'm excited.
Who's next?
Do you go, Fatal? Go ahead.
Me. All right. I guess the first thing, focus on cross advertising, guys. Keep putting out. Hit up the Hype Fest Station Twitter. Hit up everyone. Let everyone know when you come out with a new video. So when we see something like Death Cloud's video come out, we can cross advertise that and push you guys. Everyone should be cross advertising each other. Every time you see a sick vid, retweet it. Post it up. Let your viewers know. Let your followers know so that we as a community can start cross-advertising and getting ourselves all bigger. Just put out. So first of all, shout out to all of you because those 300 emails were just awesome. Huge shout out, obviously, to everyone at Epic. You guys keep doing a good job. Just keep it up, man. I know we only got to take baby steps now, but hopefully eventually we're going to be there. We'll be hitting that peak of where our game should be. I would love to see it. Other than that, obviously, Cream, Brutality, Immortal, Kendall, it's always a pleasure, always. So thanks for having me on the show again. Huge shout out to the two gentlemen I have the privilege of working with, Michael Murray and Jason Barbosa. You guys, it's always fun, man. I know we gotta sit here, doing what we gotta do right now. It's a lot of work, but we'll have it done soon. So I'm very excited for Hype 3. All of you should be following the Hype Fest Station Twitter, so get on that. Other than that, just I guess the YouTube guys, hit them up. Ardic's got a big YouTube following. Cream's starting his. Immortal does one. I'm opening mine. all the YouTube guys like Butter, Landon, Iceman, Gold Glove, they're all listening to their followers all the time. So if you have a suggestion for a video, you want to see them do something, vote for it in the masses, and then you'll see them get their their big followings, promoting some cool videos. There's no wrong in that. So that's pretty much it for me. And then just all my friends, everyone else, love you all. That's it. I'll stop flapping my lips now.
Rob, you can go ahead.
Sure. Thank you guys for tuning and talking with you guys. I love this forum. We all bring our different perspectives of Gears of War, and we all share the same goal, is to get this game as polished and successful in a competitive way as possible. So when I throw outlandish ideas out there, it's really just throwing something. You guys respond back, see where it goes, whether it works or not. At the end of the day, there's nothing that compares to the thrill of this game in a competitive setting for me. So I just can't, just striving for that goal. Love it so much. Thank you guys for believing in that as well. You can check me out on Twitch and YouTube /Immortal Spawn respectively. And I hope you guys have a great week. Thank you.
Just wanted to thank the viewers. Thank you guys for having me here. I know I didn't talk much, but I don't want to step on any toes, because this is your guys' thing. But thanks for having me. And want to shout out to Triforce, my sponsor, ProjectTriforce.com. You guys can check them out. They have some awesome Gears of War replicas and things like that. And if you will, just check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/BritTheGamer. There's an awkward 3 T's in a row. I do a weekly cast of the news that's going on and happenings in the Gears of War community called the Coalition Report, and put random Gears of War videos up on there. So thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, just thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'll be streaming it for a little bit after this because I know people are asking in the chat. It won't be that long, but thanks for everybody tuning in. I'm going to do some Control Freak and Squid Grip giveaways over Twitter. So follow the Active Reload Twitter. I'm going to be doing it on there right after the show. Probably just some quick trivia or something. So yeah, do that. Shout outs to the guys at Epic for showing up and watching tonight. Really appreciate Jim and Will being in the chat, talking to everybody, and just showing that they care. I really do. I appreciate it. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. See you same time next week. Sorry we didn't get to bring in any callers, but we just kept going. So next week we'll be sure to do that. Peace out, everybody.